Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I am Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. Hi, everybody. I have I was just gonna have to fight Nazis tonight. It's true. Hey, Balrog, you have been posting such great selfies. I just want you to know it. I'm just letting you know it. I'm letting you know it. That's all. I'm just. Oh yes, RuneQuest. I've not. These are only the RPGs I actually took me to Atlanta. These I've unpacked. I haven't unpacked the other ones. It's just I need to get that time, and I'm prioritizing the things at the moment. You've been feeling good lately? Nice. Look, I want to tell you all some stuff. Before we start, I want to tell you all some stuff. One, I feel like I have 1,000 things to tell you all. I hope you're doing well. So the first thing I want to tell you is this. I will not be able to host Critical Role for the next 2 weeks. I'm still working on the secret project, as well as a couple of other secret projects. Hopefully, we'll be done with work. I did not finish my secret thing. I've got like 2 more weeks, so I got these next 2 weeks to work on it. Luckily, my classes are mostly settled at this point. I mean, not complete and not caught up with CR either. I'm not, but I'm hoping I can put that on the background while I'm working on these things. I'm gonna tell you this is where we're at. Are you ready? Just letting you know where we're at. I've got like another 2 weeks to finish the secret project, which is a lot of writing. Kolos starts next week. In 2 weeks, I'm also starting. I'm GMing a short miniseries, which I do not think I can announce yet. That's starting in 2 weeks. Next week, I am playing in a two to three shot. That's next week. The week after, I'm starting in a playing in a 6 shot as well. So within the next 2 weeks, I have got 4 shows starting, and I've got to finish this secret project. That is what's happening in the next 2 weeks. That is what it is. I just want you to know it. I just want you to know that. That's all. And of course, I have teaching. But the teaching is no, it is not gauche to mention it. Speaking of which, by the way, if I had updated my calendar for February, that would be on there. It is I have not currently updated my it still says January my calendar, but going to fix that. Yes. So but the 27th of February, on Sunday, right? Yes. That's a Sunday. I think I must have shut down my calendar. Yes, it's a Sunday at 4 p.m., right? Yes, 4 p.m. Eastern. Is that correct? I feel like it is. 1 p.m. Eastern. Thank you. 1 p.m. Eastern. I was like, what is that? 1 p.m. Eastern. 1 p.m. Eastern. Thank you. I am going to be over on Balrog's channel. We're going to be having a panel talking about joy in RPGs. I'm really excited about this. And at Balrog, who else is going to be there? You've got to say. And by the way, I'm gonna be updating my calendar. Like I hopefully tonight is what I'm gonna be doing it. Being kind to KP with this one. Oh yeah, KP's gonna be there. It's gonna be very exciting. So far it's me, KP, Susie Santa Grace, amazing. She's amazing, amazing. Love her. Very excited. Oh, I'm really excited to think about the concept of kindness and different ways of thinking about that. Very excited. Oh. So it's gonna be really good. This is gonna be a really good discussion. So you should note that's happening also. But I'm not thinking about that in terms of like on my plate because that is after the intense moment. But I would say that the teaching syllabus stuff that's like a bit, but really it's mostly service. Everything's happening all at the moment. Like we've got to go through. The administration wants our classes for next semester way early, so I've got to go and actually send in my classes for next semester today. let people know. And then we have to do like we've got grad admissions. We have a grad admission meeting on Monday, so I've got to go through all the grad applications this weekend. Um, we have a colleague going up for tenure, so I've got to go and read her file and write a report on that. Like, it's just a lot. Like, basically, here's what happened. I was away for a year and a half. I came back, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're so happy you're back. Here is a bunch of stuff," and I was like, "Oh, thanks." That's what happened. Just so you know, I have been like nonstop meetings for the last couple of days. It's pretty amazing. Um, Ice Bunny says, "You know, only a genius rules the Chaos Trooper, and the executive dysfunction loves chaos." Um, I don't love chaos. I mean, I'm good at dealing with chaos, but I don't love it. I like having um, I like having a bit more influence over how my day goes. What did they do when you were gone? Oh, well, things happened while I was gone, and now they're like, we're glad you're back because I'm an advocate for people, for other people, and I was not there to advocate, and so people were like, there was a lot of stuff. You don't need to worry about it, but there was a lot of stuff. Um, Job security? Well, yeah. Gee, no one else could have handled this at any point in the past 18 months. Yeah. But it's also about leadership positions, right? Because we rotate in and out. Um, and we are rotating again, and there are questions about who will be doing what. There are questions. There are questions coming up, and we will see. There have things that have happened, is all I'm going to say, while I was not here. And we're all trying to and also, of course, COVID doing a number, right? Hey, Barantor. Hey, Barantor, how are you? Uh, so you were made the head of, I have not been made the head of paperwork at this point. Hmm. And I should not be made the head of paperwork because I am not a full professor and I do not have my book finished. So I should not be the next one on the list. But what should happen and what will happen may let's just find out. We'll find out. Lauren Danger, how are you? How are you? We're gonna find out what happens. I don't know yet. We don't know. There are a lot of questions. It is unclear. Oh, I have to fill out that survey. Uh, Email them about that. Uh, Fill out. I have to remind myself. This is the ADHD thing. If I don't write it down, I'll forget it. Fill out that, and fill out that survey. Email the tech people. And there was one other thing I needed to do. Sorry about that. Sorry. What was? There was one other thing I needed to email. Uh, Class schedule. Sorry, I just I remembered it. I needed to write it down because I will forget it by the time we get to the end of the stream. I was like, but now I remembered. You ordered a longbow today, so shooting over the way. Nice, nice. What kind of longbow? Like, what's it like? What kind of longbow? I want to know. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces that I'm like, not me, but we'll see. Mm, are you doing a giveaway today? Don't let me forget. Don't let me forget, because I will forget somewhere in the middle of our stream. Let me know that I want to give away the Ambassador Fractured Timelines, which is like an indie action adventure RPG. Don't let me forget, I want to give it away. English longbow. Oh, nice. 45. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Hickory, because I can't afford a U bow from England. It's fair. So, all of that madness aside, I want to tell you something before we start that's about something I think is cool. So Balrog posted a really great stuff with these cute fox ears, which were very cute, and like was like Balrog was like reveling in her being able to like wear something that she's like wanted to wear, and it made her feel good, right? So I am right now wearing this shirt, and I want to tell you about this shirt and one other thing because this shirt makes me really happy. So this shirt is knit. It's a knit shirt. I found a while ago I was reading up that knit t-shirts were quite popular in the 40s. It was a popular thing. I was like, I want a knit t-shirt, but I do not yet know how to knit. And I was like, well, I found a pattern. Maybe I can learn how to knit. I do not have the time to learn how to knit at the moment, but I was like running around and on the online, and I found this company that makes these knit shirts, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So I ordered this one. I ordered one other one as well. And I was like, this is really neat. This is like a knit shirt. It's kind of got a cool pattern. This makes me really happy. I'm very happy to have this shirt. You're wearing your Stitch of Fate t-shirt? Nice. Nice. Um, now I'm blushing. Balrog the Eternal state of blushing. Yes. I saw you nitpicking there, Trooper. Nice. I was going to tell you the Fossil's favorite sentence. Oh, please note. I love that. So, but I have to tell you one other thing. And this is me. I'm going to tell you something about when I was a kid, which has to do with this company that I found. This company, like they sell like these kind of cool, they sell like cardigans and sweaters. They sell a bunch of random stuff, right? Is it super warm? Is it pretty cool? I mean, it is cool. Like it doesn't feel super hot. Like it's nice. When I was in elementary school, probably fourth or fifth grade, which is like what, 9 or 10 years old. At that time, I many of the clothes I wore were hand-me-down clothes from older kids who were friends of my parents, right? So I just had like a lot of really random. Uh, oh no, no wait, Carlin. I was gonna get to the point about coolness, which I feel like is anyway. If there's one video game line that I think encompasses Trooper, stay a while and listen. But actually interesting. Aww, thank you. Um, I have thoughts and feelings. That touches me. Um, so when it was 8 or 9 or 10, I had a hand-me-down that I loved more than anything. It was an Argyle pullover sweater vest. It's a little sweater vest that was like an Argyle pattern, and it was so cool. Like I loved it. I realize this does not make me feel. I know that other people may not have thought that was cool, but I thought it was cool. Baron had a yeah. Baron also like there are sorts of folks that had lots of hand-me-downs, and I was one of those folks. I don't know if being compared to Deckard Cain is a compliment. Um, and I remember loving this thing. Of course, I grew out of it, and like I wore it to death, and it was like sort of ruined. And I never had another one since then. But I just went to the website of the company that makes these shirts. They have Argyle pullover sweater vests. So this means that I could get another one. I haven't had one since, I don't know, 1981 or something like this, right? But I could get another one. And this idea really excites me. There's one other thing that I had as a kid that I loved clothing wise that I really, really want to get another one of, but I have no idea where to find this sort of a thing. And I've done internet searches and I've not found this thing that I'm looking for. Hey, Escape, how are you? Curry's like, do it for Little Trooper. Like, maybe I should. Which makes me think about coolness for a second. Baron Tor says, my grandmother would go to something called a bundle sale, where used clothes were bundled in sort of like hay bale bundles and were undone in front of a group of people who all picked through it and like, with like, ooh, nice. Sounds British. A pulley? And no, it's a sweater vest. Pulley is just a pullover sweater, right? It's a vest, so it does not have sleeves. But it's not a cardigan, so it doesn't button up, right? It is a pull over, but it's a vest, and it's knit. It's not a sweater. It's a pullover sweater vest. Yeah, so pulley is a pullover sweater as opposed to, but we just call it a sweater, and then you have like a cardigan sweater, which is button up rather than, you know. So I want to get this thing. Don't let me forget about the other random thing. But I was like watching these. I was looking at some of the images of like the models wearing these clothes that are clearly and seriously like, look, if you are actually, I have no idea what people are doing nowadays. But like before, people would look at those clothes and be like, those are old man clothes. Those are not cool. Like only like old people would wear like a shirt like this or like an Argyle sweater vest. Definitely not a cool thing. but like the models look cool. But I was like, you know what? These models look cool because they're like hot and young. And I feel like if you're hot and young, you could probably wear whatever you want and it'll be fine. Like you could wear like, I don't know, whatever you want. And like people will think it looks fine because you're hot and young. Which means that when I wear it, it probably will not be cool, but I have never cared about being cool. I have always cared about wearing things I enjoyed. And so I think I'm going to go and get an Argyle sweater vest, even if it does not make me look cool. I do not care. That is my thought. Oh, oh, you know what? Thank you for reminding me that I didn't do a thing. Jer, thank you for that resub. Hey, Hawkeye. I just realized that there was a thing I didn't do. That was one thing I realized. And secondly, I have got two different songs to sing. But I just am going to make a quick note. Hey, I just need to change my alert from uh, Simply Divine to my regular alert. Hello, manage my themes. How are you doing? My RIAA theme. Boom. Done. Happened. Ready. Boom. We're in it. In it to win it. So yes, that's what I wanted to tell you. I'm gonna wear Macklemore made old man clothes cool again. That's probably true actually. My dad was rocking that look for decades. Again, but if it's your dad, then it's not cool, right? Hescape asks, what date does Cola start? Is it the 11th or the 18th? So excited. Well, Hescape, let me tell you the answer to that question, and how the answer to that question is mysterious. It's not mysterious. There is an actual answer to that question, but the answer to that question is cheeky, and I'm gonna give it to you. So, oh, speaking of cheeky, I realized that I wanted to stretch this out a little bit, so that's a little bit easier, so I can see more of your chat. Um, so there we go. Okay, so you're hosting for 2 more weeks, Hawkeye. Yes, you are. Courier says people who don't care about looking cool are always the coolest people. Aw. Or they're weirdos, like one or both. Ice Bunny says, my birthday gift from Japan arrived yesterday, and you will not guess what I was gifted. What were you gifted? Balrog says, speaking of cheeky, I just made my mind go straight to innuendo. Nice. I blame Midnight, and I actually praise Midnight for that. Barentor says, one of the late night shows, I think it was Colbert, was talking about micro trends in fashion and how even 10-year-old trends are coming back lately and things are moving quickly. Yeah, I think you can rock anything, Trooper. And Krell's like, weirdos are cool, right? I think so. Okay. So, here's the thing I want to tell you about Kolos. This is very exciting. Okay, but they're usually also weirdos. Maybe that's something about me. I think that's fair. So here's the thing I'm going to tell you about Kolos. This is like a little excitement before we, you know. So we are starting. So tomorrow is Friday, yes, and I'll be on roll 20 for Fiasco First Friday. So I'm doing Fiasco tomorrow. I really need to update my away screen, my calendar. It's fine. I'm gonna do it tonight. Anyway, so next Friday, so tomorrow, I'm doing Fiasco and roll 20. And Turbo, you're allowed to finish saying something before you read chat. Okay, I will see. Yes. Next Friday, we are starting Kolos, the 11th. There's one person I need to confirm who hasn't gotten back to me yet. It's fine one way or the other. There are a couple little details I need to do. There's some stuff I need to do, but I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, we're starting next week. But, I need to actually say one more thing. I need to message somebody. Anyway, not the point. We are starting next week. But Dot, KP, Greg, and Lindy will not be here next week. They will be here the week after. We're doing a 17 episode season, and next week is a special episode with people who are not our 4 players. One of the people you have seen on Kolos before. The other people you have not seen on Kolos before. And it will probably be a short stream. It'll probably only be like from 7 to 9. And depending, I might do a movie night. We will see. We'll see afterwards. We'll see. But Courier 3, I will neither confirm nor deny anything. Also, I need to get a couple more details, but there was a question, right? And they just reminded me. Uh, Boom. Sorry, just reminded me of a thing that I need to do that's Colos related. Um, what I'm gonna say is, first off, that's not true, Krellin. Um, I there was a question that I had at the end of the last season, and it was a question, and it's mostly because Krellin's just not available on Fridays. This is also fair. Um, and the question I had was a question that I suppose I could just decide myself because I am the GM after all, and this is a thing that I could just decide. But I was like, I don't want to just decide by myself because this is a very big question. It's actually quite important. And so I was like, how do I figure out how to answer this question? And I was like, I know, special episode. So the special episode is going to be dealing with a very important question, and we're going to be having some people coming in, some special people coming in to have a discussion about this question. And it will impact the future of our PCs. And I am very excited. Um, I'm very excited for next Friday's opening for season 5. Very excited because I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be look, I'm just so excited. Look, I can't talk about it, but I'm so excited. I'm very excited about it. Um, uh, Ice Bunny says my Japanese friend gave me a haore from her granny to wear. I was crying when I unwrapped it. It is blue green with plum blossoms. Oh, very nice. My parents have the golden wedding in April, and Germany is still full restriction mode, so we don't know if and when it will happen. Are we in danger of breaking the timeline? It's a question. It's a question. Uh, it is a question. They're already in danger of breaking the timeline. Yeah. Trooper says simulations he needs to bring in guest players to simulate. Okay, it is true that I am so simulationist that I need to bring in guest players to simulate his off screen. Krellin is correct. What Krellin just said, that I'm so simulationist that I need to bring in guest players to simulate my off screen stuff, this is a true statement. But only for certain things, right? Like certain things, like this one feels like I need it. This one feels like I need it. And It's gonna be so good. Hescape, I'm excited, but also very worried for the regular cast, says Hescape. I'm guessing they're not allowed to watch the first episode. You know what? They can do whatever they like. If they want to watch, they can. If they don't have to. But I'll tell you what, they can watch because there's nothing they can do about it. Because their PCs are not able to be in that room where this conversation is going to happen. And whatever happens in that conversation, they're gonna find out about it. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. And I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. Oh, but thank you for reminding me. I appreciate you all because you remind me there are a couple of things. Oh yeah, I need to go and like. I feel like a maniacal laugh is almost in this case. Yes. Courier says, I love watching you produce the show you want. It's almost as good as the show. Thank you. So, no, they will not be in the room where it happens. No, which is, that's a good one. Yeah, y'all, I just have to go and like write a little, I've got to write a little report for the people that our guest players are playing and give that to them before next Friday. And I have to uh-huh. Yep. I just have to do a bunch of emails. It's fine. Okay. Like, now I'm really worried about them. You know, I am yeah. Look, here's the thing. There are politics at play at this moment. And those politics may not be great for our PCs, or they could be fine. Like there's some tensions. there are some tensions in the room. And I need to find out how they're going to play out. So excited. Barator, I'm glad I'm not the only one who has a pad of paper for memory notes. Yeah, absolutely. Ice Bunny says, How is a coat traditionally casually worn over a kimono? Yep. If you can fit one and you have a person who helps you put it on, my sumo roles make a kimono impossible, so I wear it over a black dress. That's awesome. I wanted to tell you something. This is important. What did I want to tell you? The name game. Come on, everybody. I say, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name. I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. Or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Ger, bobert, banana, fanner, faux fair, fee, fi, mo, mare. Ger, the name game. People, Jer, thank you for that resub and also for being our mod. And because you just resubbed, it made me think about a thing that I wanted to talk to you about. And it's about we have more emote slots. We have more emote slots. And I just need to, we'll talk about it. But emotes. 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 There you go. Got it. Boom. Emotes. And one other thing. No, that was it. I think that was it. Yes. Yes. I'm excited about that. Y'all. We're going to bring the game up so we can walk. Because I think we're walking at the moment. So we can walk while we're chatting about the things. Y'all. I don't think I can tell you. Oh, that's right. We're in this cave. That's where we are. Right. We're in a cave. That's where we are. I got it. I remember. Yeah. We're in a cave. Good. The game's up. We're playing. So look, this is where I'm at right now. I have this unbelievably huge amount of work to do in the next 2 weeks, which is insane. It's mind-boggling. It's Cthulian. It is non-Euclidean, but also I am so excited for the return of Kolos, and I've got some plans. We got a really good donation after, it wasn't during Kolos, and it was after Kolos ended, we got a really great donation, which means I think there's this thing I've been wanting to do for a while, but it involves commissioning art that will be kind of expensive because I actually want to get, depending on how you count it, 18 pieces of art. I want to get 18 pieces of art, and depending on how you count it, some people might read that art as not 18, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 24 plus 30 pieces of art, depending on how you want to read it. For a reason, there's a thing that I want to do, but it involves commissioning between 18 and 30 pieces of art. It's a Kolos related thing, and that will cost money. But this donation came in at the end, which I don't think I notated where I wanted to notate, because it wasn't technically during Kolos, so it's not technically a Kolos station, but I'm going to just count it that way because I want to use it to do to get this art. I've got to find the artist though. I also need, there's information I need to get from the players before I can commission this art to do this thing that I want to do. That's the thing I want to do. I don't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it, but I'm not going to talk about it. But I have to find the artist. So Lindy, who is amazing, Okay, so I don't know if you all know Laugh Love Lindy, right? While I'm talking to you, I'm gonna go back to the game. So we are trying to. What are we doing? We're trying to. We do not want to leave the cave. We want to go this way. We are in this cave because there's some kind of mystical, magical thing in here. I think is what's going on. That's it. So just note we're in a cave for mystical, magical reasons. All right. So I don't know if you know this about Lindy. I'm gonna go and give Lindy a compliment, although Lindy is not here. But just know that I'm talking. If she's out there somewhere, Lindy, and she can hear me, please note, Lindy, I'm going to give you a compliment in public that you can't hear. So Lindy does this thing which I have so much respect for. It's one of those things that's like really cool about her, and I don't think she tells people. Maybe she does. I don't know what she does. I don't know. I'm going to tell you what she does because I think it's pretty awesome. Lindy commissions art for all of her characters in all the RPGs that she is in. So she commissions a lot of artists. So and then she gets the art from them, and then she like gets them printed out and put on her walls. And she always goes with like different artists each time. And what she does, what's so cool about this is that it's a way for her to support artists, right? Because she commissions them and she gives them money. But she's supporting artists, and she often will get artists from like all around the world. And then she also gets really cool art of her characters, which is, hey, this torch is dying. I thought I'd mention it, and I feel like it is now dead. So let's let's move that torch. What just happened? Oh, I just threw that torch, didn't I? Oh well. I just threw the torch. It's fine. We're gonna light another torch. It's cool. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. Art is cool. Paying artists is cooler. Yes. Yeah, the Great Bear will have you as a snack in the game. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Lindy is so, and she showed me the Frida angle. It was wonderful. And, oh, hey, this is the way we came, right? So this is the way we came. Oh, hey, look at that. Hey, wait a second. This is a flare.
This'll come in handy.
Why is there a flare here? And should I be worried? Should I be worried that I'm going to die? Okay. Just noting it. So we have it looks like there are 3 different ways to go from here. Let's go left first. We'll go down the left path and then see where it takes us, and then we'll do that. We'll be systematic about it. Keep the out for the flare wolf. I know, right? Yes, Lindy set me up with someone to make art for my Twitch streams. Loving how it looks so far. Lindy was great. And yes, right? So, no. Lindy is, the thing about Lindy is that she is, besides, how cool is it that she has decided that she wants to support art, and what she does is she commissions art for her, of her characters, which is like really, it's so sweet and it's so cool. But how do I put this? One, she keeps records, right? In the sense that she knows which artists she's used, and she can tell you, we're going to just keep following left until we see where we go. That's going to be our systematic purpose. Left, left, left. So and not only does she keep records, keep track of like the contact information and all that for everybody she's ever used, she also regularly searches Twitter, etc., and other spaces to find artists, and she's got a whole bunch of artists she hasn't even commissioned yet, but she has them and she notes them. So she is this amazing resource to find artists. Like if you're looking for an artist, you're like, I need an artist for a thing. I wonder what will be really good. Lindy probably knows, right? So she has helped me. She's like, oh, here's some people if you're looking for this. I was like, look, I'm looking for this style. I'm looking for this sort of thing. And she's like, okay, sure, here's some people. Like, so she is this wonderful resource, as well as like a kind human being who supports artists. And because she keeps good records, she can help you support artists by giving you people to think about. And I am going to give her just lots of love for that because that's awesome. Because people are like, "Oh, mean, I need to find an artist, but I have no idea where to look or where to start." And I would say talk to Lindy because Lindy knows things. By the way, my torch is dying. I'm just gonna wait for it to die. That's what I'm gonna do while we do. Yeah, Lindy is really lovely. Uh, Keep an eye out for the flare wolf. I know there might be a flare wolf. Yes, so she's great, and she has been very useful. But the thing is, I just saw another thing on the internet that this one is it this one is it this one? Yeah, so I saw another thing on the internet that has inspired me actually, and I was like, oh, maybe what I actually want to do is do this slightly different thing so I can use the art for more than one. Like, I want to use the art for more than one purpose. So I've got to go and, like, I am looking for broken torches. Hello, torches. There you are. Can I use this, by the way? Can I use empty torches for kindling? I'm going to keep it just in case I can, right? Because I might be able to. And if that is the case, then I will. What I saw a thing on the internet. It was amazing. Hoarder. No, but this is not about hoarding. It's about the fact that I was out of materials for. I'm gonna take that coal. I was out of materials for making fires for quite some time, and that was very distressing because I almost died of hypothermia, and I did not appreciate that. I did not like dying almost of hypothermia. I found it. No, I found it not at all fun, and I'm gonna try not to do that again. I'm also still kind of low on. Hey, what do you think all this is about? Hey, that's a burnt out torch. Why are you getting creepy music? Was that my burnt out torch? Yes, it was. Right? Yes, it was because I went that way, and now I came out this way. I think this is the way we originally started, so now we just have to go this way. Why are we getting creepy music? Why are we getting creepy music? Well, that's weird. Well, we've been around the world, but we can't find our baby. Let's go to, Are you cold? No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Let's go here, and let's go here, and let's look at our quests. We're in this, we're here, right? Search for escaped convicts, Skeeter's Ridge Basement, collectibles, forest talkers, tall tales. See, we're here looking for, I think we're in the, tall tale space is what I think, right? Yeah, we're in tall tales. We're looking for what? We're looking for a glowing cave. Let's see. Search for the hidden cave behind a waterfall. I feel like we're here. Okay, we went to the Misty Falls cave. We did that, right? And now we're searching for a hidden cave behind a waterfall. Okay, I think we're gonna have to ponder this. And now you will dive right into walls because the bat will fight you. They're like, "Hey, Valtiel, how are you? How are you doing?" So we are here. Like we are here. Hey, where did my? Oh, by the way, we're out of light. That's awkward. Let's light our fire. And let's see. I am good. I'm overworked, but I am excited, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm in a place of excitement because I have got shenanigans planned for you all and for the players and for everybody. I am very jazzed for we're gonna take another round of walking in this place. So this must not be, I mean, maybe this is not it. Maybe it is. But I'm not seeing the glowing cave. So I feel like we are not there yet, perhaps? I mean, but this does look like a glowing cave. Well, it's not glowing. It's a cave, but it's just not a glowing cave. So we're just gonna, like, look at the ceiling. So we maybe might have missed something. And then if not, we'll go back out. Oh, what's up there? Also, me doing, oh, hey, look. Me, moving my head in real life does not actually mean that I will see more things in the game. That's just not how it works. Oh, y'all, there's gonna be shenanigans, and I'm so excited. No, Trooper, because if you do that, then like I just feel like somehow maybe leaning. Yeah, it's true. It's true, right? It does. If you lean, you corner better. It's true. Or at least it feels that way. While we're here, why don't I just eat some food? I will eat some dog food. I'll eat this energy bar while I'm here. Just eat the energy bar. It'll be fine. And drink some water. Oops. So, a little, keep myself healthy. And, oh, hey, y'all, I got a new chair and I haven't built it yet, but I have a new chair. And I am, my poor torches. I feel like, hey, wait, did you hear that? Did you hear that? It sounded to me like, hey, what's that over here? Wait, what is this? Look what I found, everybody. I'm really concerned about evil, like, monster bears trying to murder us.
Come on in my house.
Come on in my house, come on. Come on in my house, come on. Come on in my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on in my house, I'm gonna give you everything. Boop a doop a doop boop boop a doop a doop boop boop a doop a doop boop a doop a doop a doo. Bonsai baby! Bonsai baby. How are you? Also, thank you for that raid. Or as Magritte would say, ce ne sont pas un raid. This is not a raid. It's only like our imagination of a raid, perhaps. How are you doing? What were you streaming? What is going on with the graphics here? I am going to save right now, just because I don't know what's going on. It makes me a little bit nervous. And then I'm gonna go over here. What's going on? How are you doing? What happened? Hey everybody, welcome in. Bonsai baby, how are you? Yeah, like, I don't know, like, there's this big giant bear in this game that just shows up sometimes and murders you. Or mauls you, and just to say hi. I feel like it's a way of just like hugging you. It's like, hey, I wanna hug you, by mauling you. And that's what I think happens. Oh, you're trying to learn Spanish? Nice. My Spanish is not good because it's rusty and old. But, like, I got some Spanish. I just am not very good about it. Have you tried asking? I pretty should. Well, the thing is, I did try to say hello to the bear, but it was mauling me at the time, so it was hard. Did not kill the character I'm currently playing, Oster. The other character, Mackenzie, who's a bit of a whiner, always whining about stuff. Like when the bear mauled him and he was bleeding to death, he's like, I'm bleeding. I was like, yeah, I noticed. A bear mauled you. Like, do you think I don't know that you were mauled by the bear? It freaked me out. He just was always like, oh, I'm dying. And I was like, oh, Mackenzie. Bonsai Baby, what were you streaming and what have you been doing? If you all don't know Bonsai Baby is amazing and wonderful. And I love Bonsai Baby. And I'm going to just say Bonsai Baby. Oh, that wasn't the command. This is the command? Maybe? Yes. Yes. Uh, Bonsai's great. For those of you who have not been around forever, Bonsai was over on Geek Space TV back in the day, and that's where I first got to see Bonsai. Um, watching uh, watching Bonsai in Geek Space, amazing. And then I got to meet Bonsai in person, and when I went to visit, and then Bonsai and I were together in um, a State of Affairs, which was amazing. The thing about Bonsai, and I thought about this when Bonsai played such a great character in this cipher game that Lauren was running over on Geekspace. It was called what was that one called? I missed Geekspace too. Uh, uh,
Name game.
hey, Scabidac! The name. Remind me what the name of that game of the show was where you played the the paranoid pizza guy. Uh, it was so good, and like the whole cast was really good. Kisan was in it. Jackie Dash was in it. You were in it. Come on, what's the name of that one? It was so good. Anyway, your character was so good. One thing that I love about Bonsai, one thing I think is like Bonsai is great skill. Is that Bonsai plays a character that is funny and you laugh and you're like, oh, Bonsai. And then all of a sudden, boom, you don't, Bonsai sneaks up on you and then stabs you in the heartstrings and then you're crying, right? Like these characters that like seem funny and goofy, like, oh, ha, 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 but they have this like really deep core and out of nowhere, that core is revealed and then you're crying. Bonsai is so good at that. The name game. Come on, everybody. I say now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F, or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain. Then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Skebinac, 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 bo, babinac, banana, fana, fo, fabinac, fee, fi, mo, mabinac. Skebinac, the name game. Thank you for that resub. You have been here for 54 months. That's a long time. That's a long time. Just noting it. Hey, hello there, Christ Risey. How are you? Raid, how are you? Welcome in. Yeah, it was Cypher. It was what was that? Marcus was right. Come on, what was it? Everybody, what was the name of that show? It was and it had they had a great theme song, right? By Lizard Eats Flies. They were traveling between dimensions, right? Right? Yes. Come on. It was Cypher. It was a Cypher system. That was the system by Monty Cook. First off, I cannot believe that Krellin is just not telling me because, like, Krellin should remember this. All right, let me think. Hold on. I cannot handle not knowing this right now. Give me one moment, and then I am going to know. No, that wasn't it. It wasn't Leviathan. It wasn't Eat, Pray, Kill. It wasn't High School Royale. It wasn't Manner of Speaking. It was Worlds Beyond. That's what it was. It was Worlds Beyond. Yep. Nope. It was Worlds Beyond. Lauren DM'd it. Absolutely. Worlds Beyond. Yes. And it was so good. And then of course, Bonsai was amazing in my Midsummer Mysteries where I got the honor to GM her and wonderful. And of course, Midsummer Mysteries that happened. It was a little six shot that happened last Midsummer. And who knows? Maybe, this coming Midsummer, it will happen again. I hope so, because I want to find out what happens. So yes, you're busy playing the kitten. I've only been trying to find it for a minute. See, like, because I know Krellin's like, wait, what? Boom, and then just like gets it. So like, Krellin does the good research. So yes. So what were you streaming before this? Before you came here? What were y'all doing? I want to know. Anyway, we're gonna just go back to the game and look at this strange, mysterious cave. While, yeah, what were you streaming? Also, bonsai. I was thinking about you, bonsai. Uh, Duolingo. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So you were streaming Duolingo. Neat. Bonsai. What a cool idea. Also, why am I getting creepy music right now? Like, why is the music, like, slightly murdery? Okay, I just walked through cold water,
So cold. Think.
and now I have hypothermia risk. And everything is bad. I should probably... This is what happens when you walk through really cold water. You almost die. We're going to start a fire once we get on not water. Just for the record, once we get on not water, we are going to start a fire and warm up. Well, technically we're running up by ourselves, so that seems okay. That seems all right. Yes. Yay, hypothermia. Playlist is not. Oh, it's not okay. And the Trex is waiting. No, I hope there's no T-Rex. I need to sleep, unfortunately. Oh, that's fine. Because I need to get up early tomorrow and put on the slow cooker. Ooh, I actually made some chili in my Instapot. So that was... So I also have chili, and I will be eating chili after my stream tonight. Because I look, I want to tell you, you know how I get, like, it's really bad? Like, my eating habits get not so good in the, when the school year starts? Hey, look at all this. These people seem dead. I bet these people are dead. Also, I don't know if I actually need to start a campfire right now because I'm not very tired and I'm kind of okay. But they look really dead to me right now, is what I'm trying to say. Which is awkward. Yeah, free long pork. Delish. I should try. Ooh, Jer, I should. If you have a recipe for Instapot red beans and rice, please give it to me because
Handy.
I would love to make red beans and rice. So if you have an Instapot recipe for red beans and rice, please tell me because want to. I want to try it. So yes. Um, Now I want a chili dog. Ooh, I love good chili dog. I do not have a slow cooker, but I'm hoping. Look, I'm going to tell you all some super things. I am really hoping to get a Dutch oven at some point because are they alive? No, they're corpses. They are not alive. That is a statement. I'm going to just
Could end up being useful.
not alive. Okay. We will take their stuff. Does your Instapot? No, it does. It does have a slow cook feature. It does, which is awesome. It can work. People say that a dedicated slow cooker is better than the Instapot version of a slow cooker, but it totally works as a slow cooker. I think the only thing I really need to do to make it work better is to get a different top for it because there's like the Instapot top which like seals it tight. But my understanding is if you want to use it as a slow cooker best, like to have it really work well, there's like a glass top that you can put on, that you can get for it, which doesn't seal it completely shut, so then it works better like a slow cooker. Because one of the differences between the Instapot and a slow cooker is the Instapot seals because it's steam based, right? So it retains fluid. Oh, y'all, I gotta. Paladin Hulk did not lie to me. I got a satchel that I think gives me more inventory. We're gonna check it out because if this is a true statement, if I can hoard more things on my person, I am going to be so happy. Let us find out if this is a true statement. Because if it is, I might. I am wet. Look at this. My inventory has gone up 5 kilos. So I am very overburdened at the moment. Also, that I cannot eat that ruined rabbit, but I can throw it at animals. So we're gonna work it out. I also think that maybe because I'm overburdened, I maybe should stay here and sleep maybe a little bit, but I'm not that tired. I'm gonna think about this for a moment while I am pondering pondering the Instapot. Um, yes, PH would never lie to me, but like he told, like it's like the oh right. Um, so isn't the recipe for slow cooker red beans and rice to put red beans and rice in the cooker, add water, and let it go? Um, I think I don't because the things I don't know if you have to make the rice first and then put the beans in or I don't know the best way to do those things, right? Cat got me a proper crock pot last month and it's just yes. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I need a little vent, right? So there's like a yeah. So oh, you have an orange one? I want to get like a teal a Dutch oven. And Instant chili theoretically is better than slow cooker chili as the pressurization allows more flavor to penetrate meats and the like. Oh, that's interesting, Jared. I made some chili and it's hotter, it's spicier than I would have expected. And I'm not quite certain if the reason why it's spicier than I expected is because A, chili made in an Instapot is spicier than otherwise, or if, because what happened was I was out of chili powder and I decided to buy some chili powder. And I had a choice between buying chili powder that was expensive and you only get like 3 ounces, or Indian chili powder. Like, because you know, when you go to the store, you can get chili powder in like the international section. Like the international section will often have spices that are they're Indian spices, and they come like you get way more spice. You get like 6 ounces of the chili powder, which is the same cost as like the 3 ounces of the McCormick or whatever. So I got that and I used that, and I just don't know if it is the Instapot that made the chili spicier or if it was the chili powder being like a different brand that made it spicier. I do not know the answer to that question. Nonetheless, the chili is spicier than normal. This does not upset me. I quite enjoy it, but I do have to eat bread with it because it's just like right on that edge. It is interesting that a lot of American cooking tends to get put in an outlet, where in Europe the equivalent is to put on the stove top. Um, that depends. Hey, next of kin, that depends. I mean, a lot of American cooking is. I mean, we just use a stove top just as much as everybody else does. You know what I mean? It's just that we have some newer appliances that some people are very excited about, but it kind of just depends. Um, a lot of stovetops are electric. We have a mix. We have better electric coverage than gas service coverage. Yeah, kind of depends, right? It's a mix. Um, it kind of I think has more to do with a love of kitchen gadgets. Yeah. Baron says my stove I'm using currently to make stir fries electric. Oh, I'd love gas, but I love a gas stove. I love a gas stove. If I could have a gas stove, which I do not have right now, I would be very happy. Growing up, we had a gas stove, and I do love a good gas stove just because it's immediate. Like you put on the gas, then it's there, as opposed to like having to wait. And also, you can just turn it off, and then like it's. I like a gas stove. I just do not have one. Right? I just don't have one, and that would be great, but I don't have one. Um, yeah. So I don't. Yeah. Isn't that just a fancy name for it's a brand and it is a pressure cooker, but it's got more options, right? So like pressure cookers just did one thing, but the Instapot is a pressure cooker. You can also use it as a slow cooker. You can use it to saute. Like it's got a bunch of different. It has a couple. It has more functions. It has more functions than an old fashioned pressure cooker. Basically, it's like a multifunction pressure cooker. Frothgar says, I bet it was a combo of the two. Yes, the Instapot forces more steam, releasing more oil from the chili powder. I would also bet that the Indian chili has more capsaicin. I bet you're right, Rothgar. I bet you're right. Um, yeah, yeah, it can pressure cook, slow cook, rice cook, saute. It can do like a bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, it can. Yeah, and you can also use it to bake. Like it can do a bunch of stuff. Yeah, basically, yeah, it's a pressure cooker with crock pot functions. Absolutely. Oh yeah, someone else can even. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rinse a pot plus air fryer. No oven really needed. That said, I do want to get a Dutch oven. And the question is why, and I'm going to tell you. Do I need to get a Dutch oven right now? I do not. Will I get a Dutch oven? Probably. And the reason I'm going to tell you why. And the thing is, I really shouldn't do this at all because it makes no sense. Because I no longer live in Atlanta, so I live by myself, and making things for me when there's only one of me that makes no sense because I can't eat it all. You know what I mean? But when I was in Atlanta, I was like, well, I've got people who can eat food, so I might as well make some things that I wouldn't make by myself because I can't eat it fast enough. And why make those things like I can't eat it fast enough for it. But I had other people. It's like, oh, I can make this for other people. Okay, and so I made a bunch of stuff that like I had never made before. Like I made like blaukraut, some like German potato salad. I made chicken schnitzel. Like like I did a bunch of good stuff. I actually have made that stuff since I've been here, but then like I have to like eat that every day so I can get through it fast enough because otherwise it will like it takes me 8 days to get through the chicken schnitzel, and you should only keep chicken in the refrigerator according to the FDA for 3 days, 3 or 4 days. But I don't believe them. It was fine. It was fine. But like you got to be like really on top of it, or else it'll go bad. Um, you know, Cake Bite says I really want to run the full chili control times spice times Instant Pot experiment. You should because I'm really interested in that. Right? Something Taco Bell and Dutch ovens. But there was a thing that I was like, I remember thinking like, what could I make for my friends to show them something that I really enjoyed that like I ate in Germany that I really liked. And there is one thing that I really want. Do you not need open fire for a Dutch oven as a no, not it depends on the Dutch oven. So there are Dutch ovens that are electric. Like you can buy an electric Dutch oven. You can, but I'm gonna get like a traditional Dutch oven. And the reason why is because there's this one dish that is like really one of my favorite dishes in Germany. Not dessert, but like there are a number of things that I really love. I actually also made them spätzle, Käsespätzle, which is also a thing that I like to make. Again, some of these things I just don't make very often because it's too much to eat by myself. But there was one thing that I have never made ever. I'm not a good cook. I can follow instructions, but I'm not like you wouldn't want to put me on like Iron Chef and say, here's a turnip, make a dessert, because I would have no idea where to start. But I cannot improvise. I'm not a good cook. I'm good at following directions. So if I make something that there's a recipe to, and I follow the instructions, it will turn out well for the most part. Unless they have some kind of technique I don't know. But I'm not like a real cook. Anyway, so I think of camping when I hear Dutch oven. Well, I mean, you can use a Dutch oven camping, but you can also just use it. You can use it a lot of like you use it on the stovetop. You can use it in the oven. You can use it camping. You can use it a lot of different ways, and that's kind of one of the pluses about a Dutch oven. You don't need an open fire though. Yeah, that is a really traditional oven that you can. Yeah, you can't make a dessert. They would give them a turnip and an Iron Chef, and I'm sure they make some kind of weird like I'm gonna make like a chocolate cake with a turnip ganache. Like who knows how they do, but they do all those things over there. Yeah, let's put my Dutch. You actually can put a Dutch oven in a regular oven. You can. It is totally doable. But you can make it nice. You can make a lantern out of a turnip. That's cool. Wait a minute. Don't they in parts of Europe, Scotland, don't they rather than carved pumpkins for Halloween, don't they like carve turnips, like little faces into turnips? Isn't that a thing? I feel like there is a tradition in Europe wherein for All Hallows Eve, rather than pumpkins, because that's a New World crop, they carve faces in turnips. I really feel like I saw a bunch of turnip carved face carved turnips. Turnips are what they used to do for jack-o'-lanterns. Thank you. Right, because I've seen some. They were very, very cool. Ireland. Thank you, Lauren Danger. Thank you. Next of kin says, Ken Commismate, cooking for one has definitely killed a lot of my food options, right? Next of kin, cooking for one really is not exciting. It's not exciting is all I want to say. That's it. Oh, right. So what I want to make, the big reveal, right? Original jack-o'-lanterns were turnips and gourds. There's a dish that I really, really love that I have never made because it never really made sense. And then I was like, when I was in Atlanta, I was like, oh, I should look into making this and see how I can make it. And when I looked into it, I was like, I need a Dutch oven for this. If I'm going to make this, I need a Dutch oven. And I do not have a Dutch oven. So I'm going to wait. Hold on. Says Krellin, keep your pro turnip opinions out of my face. Rothgar says, I prefer mashed nips too, but caramelizing them is yummy. Ice Buddy says, they did that, but now they're very surgery and sugary and that they make them a pain in the butt. I speak out of personal experience. Avaltia says, I see pumpkins were native to Mexico, so that makes sense in terms of, yes, right? Because look, tomatoes are a New World crop. Potatoes are a New World crop. Corn is a New World crop. There's just a lot of crops that we think of as being staples of European food that they did not have before the 1400s. And I just would be sad about some of that. That's all. Yes, so much food is New World. It is scandalous is all I want to say. Yes. Your fingers are just not wanting to type today. No, I get it. And most vegetables that are not cabbages or turnips or New World crops. And look, I'm just glad that I don't live in northwestern Europe in 1350 for many reasons. I do not think that I would be very excited about that. Uh, Tomatoes are what the poisoned apples are in the fairy tales. Oh, that's so interesting, Hrothgar. That makes sense. That makes sense. Uh, Valtis says, I'm a big fan of New World crops. They are very tasty. They are. Lauren Teacher says, I have my book of medieval European foot history nearby. Shall I grab it? Food history. Food history. Hey, food history, that works too. I have this really great book. It's called A Feast of Thrones. It is a... Why are we not playing the game right now? We're not playing the game because we're trying to decide if we want to sleep there or not. That's why. And we think we shouldn't sleep because we actually don't need to sleep, but we don't know if we want to travel all the way back. This is what's happening in the game right now. We are dithering. That is what is happening. Got it. There is, oh yeah. So what I wanted to say was that Feast of Thrones, it's this book that I got. It's written by these two women from New England, from this area actually. One of whom is where does this take us? One of whom is a historical gastronomer. Like she studied at Harvard. She studied historical gastronomy in Harvard. And the other one is does SEA. Like she does historical food in the SEA. And can I stand up? Can I go this way? Am I able to? I bet you $1,000,000 I'm gonna have to walk out the way I came, which means getting cold, right? Which means that I should probably make a campfire on the other side because I'm going to get cold and miserable and wet, and I probably will not be able to just naturally get warmer. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just... But what if I can walk out of here? Like, what if there's a way out? Like, what if I can go this way and I don't have to... Yeah, we're going to just see what we can find. That's it. Yes. We're not playing the game, because not playing the game is what we do. Like, we're like playing the game. Sliced tomato acid on pewter leaches the lead, causing... Oh, that's interesting. We had not bad food in the Viking Age. It depends... Like, you didn't have potatoes, tomatoes, chocolate... There was a bunch of stuff you didn't have in the Viking Age. That's all I'm saying. And those are many of those things are things that I really enjoy eating, is what I'm trying to tell you. I wish there was a good way to wash a pillow without... Oh, that's a very good question, actually. Yes, I feel like there's got to be some way to get out of here without going back the way I came. But maybe there just isn't. Feast of Thrones. So this book, right? This SCA woman who does historical cooking for the SCA, and then this woman who's a historical gastronomer at Harvard. If you've never read Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, those books, if you've never read them, only seen the TV show or neither one, what I'm going to tell you is this. George R.R. Martin is sort of obsessed with medieval food. If you read those books, there's a lot of time spent describing food. He spends a lot of time describing exactly what food... Like, there's a banquet, and he goes into great detail all of the food that people are eating in this banquet. So what these two women did was they went through all of their medieval cookbooks, and they found recipes that matched the food they described, that George R.R. Martin described in Feast of Thrones, in Game of Thrones, and then they took those medieval recipes, and they translated them into modern day, so that modern day people could understand them. So Discovery of Potatoes by Peruvians, 6000 BC. Discovery of Potatoes by Europeans, 1500 AD. That's all I'm saying. We had mead, and we had meats, and we had grod and fish. Yeah, but that is still not a wide variety of food, is all I'm saying. Hrothgar says, Carlin, I got a solution for you going forward. Not for current pillow, though. Use a pillow protector, and you will never need to wash a pillow again. Mm. Yeah, there are a lot of pages describing feasts. So all the time to the show dedicated to sex, the books dedicate to food. You get both. And Scamming, it must be a nightmare to translate. So they actually had to do a lot of experiments, right? Because they're like, because we have ovens with degrees on them, right? They did not have that. So, and also they didn't use like measurements the way that we use measurements, and so they had to figure out, okay, when they say this much, what does that mean for us? How do we translate medieval measurements to modern measurements? How do we translate the cooking technique so that somebody now can cook with them? So they did all the work. They figured out how to translate the recipes so that we could reproduce them, and they made a cookbook out of it. And I bought the cookbook, and I made some of the recipes in there. Delicious, really really interesting. There are some things I didn't make because I didn't have the like. There's like they had this one about like acorn. They had like an acorn paste, but I didn't make it. I didn't have any acorns. But they had like this really delicious, that a really good like mulled wine. They had really good like peas mash. They had this cherry chicken that was delicious, really really good. They had a bunch of really good stuff. Um, I mean, it makes sense. Martin is a GURPS fan, so he's going full simulations food. Yeah. Um, well, it was enough to make the men go on Viking. Yeah, but because they had to. Like, if you have to in order to survive, food that may sustain you may not be delicious for you. Like, I mean, I can. What was that thing? Soylent Green, right? Soylent, right? Which is like all the nutrients you need in like a shake. People could like survive on Soylent, but that doesn't mean it was like the most exciting thing ever. That's all. Um, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Um, I imagine playing GURPS with GRMM. I've never had mulled wine before, but it sounds like, oh, mulled wine is delicious. I actually made some Glühwein, which is a German form of mulled wine, while I was at Atlanta. That was also for Christmas. That was also very good. Uh, Not if you're using the correct protectors. Oh, really? Nice. Thank you. Um, Kale is a living proof of that point. Yeah. I love thinking of measurements with historical context, like Beethoven dynamics. Absolutely next of kin. That's so interesting. What counts as loud, right? So interesting. And what we think of as loud is, I have a thought about that. Don't let me forget Shakespeare. Um, Food that can sustain you. Think about Mackenzie eating moldy dog food. As a matter of fact, yes. Um, but the one thing I wanted to say about Feast of Thrones, which I thought was super interesting, I'm going to need light. Yeah, I'm going to need light. Here we go. We're going to go back through and we're going to hope. Yeah, we're going to have to climb back out. That's just how we're going to do it. Um, I wish that I had. You know what? I'm going to just do this. I don't want to, but I am going to. We're going to light another torch because I cannot see where I'm going. And I feel like when we go through this waterfall, it's going to extinguish our torch, and that's going to be sad. But we'll just relight it. We'll relight by fire. Do matches work when you're walking in water? Yes. Okay, here we go. Wait, wait. We're going through. I can't see anything right now, but we're going to relight that torch.
Freezing.
I know that you're freezing. I know it. I know you just walked through ice cold water. I get it. I realize that your life is sad right now. I know it. We're just going to try to get out of here. Hey, where do you think that goes? Let's go follow that. Because that's like a... Oh no, this is just our way out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're just following our track. Hey, Diesel Shot, how are you? Hello, hello. Ooh, Hrothgar, I love that emote. I love that emote. I had some emote ideas. Anyway, one thing I thought was super interesting about the Feast of Thrones book is that they have, so in the game, Sansa and Arya love these lemon cakes, and so they had this lemon cake recipe. They were very good. What was very interesting about them is they weren't cake, really. They were more like what people in England would call a scone. We might call it kind of like a biscuit. It was more like a biscuit with like a lemon glaze on it. Was very, very good. But they also made a different, like a more modern version of that, which was different. And one of the things I thought was really fascinating about looking at the medieval recipes was, of course, way less sugar, right? Way less sugar in them than what we would be used to. And that was really interesting to me. Also, we're going to have to find actions. That's awesome. I need to find more. Where are my torches? Hello, torch. Look at that. I'm out of torches, everyone. Well, isn't that interesting? I actually feel pretty good about myself because I'm going to be able to, like, ditch these torches and, like, drop almost 2 kilograms of weight. 1.5 kilograms. Just by, like, using my torches. However, I currently cannot see. And I'm going to need to, sleep sometime soon. So we're going to get ourselves, like, I don't know, close to the edge of this. I wonder if we can. Here's the question. Can we make a fire inside this cave, or will we die of, like, carbon monoxide poisoning? Because I don't want to die of carbon monoxide poisoning, and I don't know how realistic this game goes with all of that. So that is a question that I do not have, that I do not know the answer to, but we're going to experiment and try to make a fire right here. We can make a fire here, and we're not going to die of carbon monoxide poisoning. So, feel pretty good about that. We've got tinder, which is great. Go to cardboard matches. Why is our chance of starting this fire so low? Well, we'll do that. That is what it is. That is what that is. We're going to start the fire. We're going to do our best. Red velvet cake was made with beet juice for sweetener. Oh, that's interesting. Well, there is beet sugar. Oh, wait, we failed. All right, we're going to try again. Oh, hey, sorry about that. I would like to make a fire. Trying again, because we're getting a little tired. You know, like, I feel like it's not bad to just try to, you know. All right, start this fire. According to Facebook, lemons entered Italy no later than 200 CE. Oh, that's interesting. Huh.
Come on, little fire.
Carrot cake came from not having much sugar to use as sweetener. I think so, right? People use all sorts of things. Because sugar cane is not from, like, everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of, like, you can't get sugar cane everywhere. Let us just add some fuel to this fire. Hey, cedar firewood. And also, ruined torches. We're going to just throw those ruined torches in our fire because... Look, I am so proud of myself right now. I feel like you don't even know. We're going to eat some food. We're going to eat some... What can I cook? I can cook... You know what I should eat? I really should eat, like, some of that meat that I have, but I don't know if I'm hungry enough for that. But you know what? I am going to cook some herbal tea. Because we sleep well when we have herbal tea. And I'm going to eat some of our, like... Oh, I gotta take off my clothes! Everybody, why didn't you remind me? I have to take off my clothes because they're wet. And that's, yeah. Here we are, like, being responsible. Look, we're in a great position, everybody. We're gonna take off our clothes. We're gonna dance. We're going to, eat some meat that is heavy and then have less heavy meat on us. And, like, I really feel like, this is good, everyone. Like, I feel very good about our lives, is what I'm trying to tell you. This is where I'm at. Oh, it's so right about the hybrid, but it's much older than I thought. Oh, lemons and oranges and sugar abound in medieval recipes. Yes, but they're a lot less sugary than the kinds of. I'm not that tired. Oh, let me just drink my tea. I'm not. Oh, I can't drink because I'm not thirsty. Irritating. That's fine. Also, guess what? I took off my clothes, but I didn't drop them in front of the fire. I actually need to do that. That's we have to actually drop them. 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 So did that, right? I actually think I might have an extra pair of socks that I can harvest. I do? Yes. 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 While we're here at the fire, we are going to harvest this scarf because I don't think we need to wear it. We get it once a year at New Year's Day. My mom's, the cow got frost, and gets cooked twice for hours, and I only get tiny spoons. I experimented with an oat cake today. No flour, just oats, milk, baking powder, and sugar. Oh, nice. How was that? Isn't sugar cane only in tropical places? Yes, but there are tropical places that Europeans were trading with. A ski jacket. I wonder if that ski jacket is good. That's the question. So, for example, Europeans were trading with with Asia, right? Like you can get sugarcane from India, I think, and also like Thailand. So like they were, I mean, like a lot of that stuff was being traded with from Asia. India, see, that's what Lauren says. Sugarcane from India and places in the Middle East where it was warm enough. Yep. Yes. Rich people get sugar anyway as an import. Yep. I hope your power doesn't go out. Oh no, 2 hours. That's so terrible. I'm gonna go get some cheesecake, Scabbynack. There was also forms of sweet cane in places like Kentucky that they made into sorghum molasses. So it was just interesting how our look. I'm really fascinated how our palates have changed over time. Like that is a thing that I find really interesting. Also, I need to add fuel to this fire. Just gonna point that one out because we don't want. Also, this stuff is super wet right now, and I don't know how long does it take for it to dry out. So I'm going to add one more coal to this, and then I'm going to take a nap. Because might as well start the day all fresh and let that, let it dry out a little bit. I'm not not super tired, so maybe like I don't know, 4 or 5 hours maybe. Ooh, how long is our fire gonna last? 3. So let's sleep for 3 hours and see where that puts us. Because if we need to, when we wake up, the fire will still be there, right? Just in case. We'll just right. We still got a little bit of fire. I'm not tired. We can eat something like that's not. Most of the stuff I have is actually worth a lot of calories, which I don't really need. I don't think we need that many calories. We'll just drink. We'll just drink. We'll drink. We'll drink. Ooh, we're gonna drink some water. I wonder if we need more water. So here's a question that Voltaire asked, which is a good one, right? I wonder how comparable medieval citrus fruits were to modern ones. And that is like a really good question because our palates have changed. Do you know what I mean? Like we don't really have the same tastes as we used to have. And I find, by the way, I should have got some torches out of there, but I didn't. And oh well. That is sort of how life works. And what can you do about it? What can you do about it? Ice Buddy says, yeah, as a kid, I did not like rice crackers, and now the ones with soy sauce are my favorites. Like shortbread ridges was a thing that was just weak beer so that it killed off bad things in water, but it's not what we eat now, right? So like we don't necessarily have, yeah. Lindy has got celiacs, right? So she's a yeah, right. How different were the yes, right? So like Lindy has celiacs, and so she can't eat bread. But okay, let's wear those, and then let's wear that. Am I
Name game.
the name game? Come on, everybody. I say now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name. I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. Or an M will appear. And then I say boo at a B. Then I say the name. Then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain. Then a fee, fi, and a mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Fopez, 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 banana, fana, for Fopez, fee, fi, momopez. Vopez, the name game. Thank you for that resub, Volpez. Thank you very much. Yay. So, but Lindy was saying that bread back, rice even, well, bread back then had less gluten in it. That we have bred our crops to have more gluten, but it had less gluten back then, right? So that was just kind of interesting, right? That the ways in which we have cultivated crops over time means that like the hoarding is going quite well, as a matter of fact. So here's the thing I was thinking about. I was thinking about like paleo people who are like, we're going to eat how they ate in the caveman days, which by the way, they have no idea what they're talking about, right? And they're like, we're going to eat just like they did back then, which means I'm never eating any grains because in the caveman days, they didn't eat grains, which again, also, what are you talking about? Because what are you doing? There we go. Because where? Like where? What are you talking about? They're wild grains. They don't know what they're talking about. Nothing with gluten, and that is the protein on flour. I had a kid in school, so we made gluten-free sugar cookies. My boss had her patient tested. Yeah, right. They would have snacked on wild grains, especially if you live in parts of the world where there are lots of wild grains, right? Like, so they're just making up. They're just making up things that are just not true, right? At all. That's just not true. But also, how do I put this? We cannot eat the way that cavemen ate in the Paleolithic era because the food is not the same, right? It has been a long time since then. And from then till now, the food has changed. We have cultivated it through farming. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, it's hardly possible that some things existed. There might be some things we could eat that were the same as they were in the Paleolithic era, but I just don't think hardly anything still exists that is the same. Things have changed over time. Do you know what I mean? Paleo and keto is just a sorry excuse to stuff your face with meat and fat. You're like, I'll eat her bread. It helps my digestion after my RNIs. Oh, nice. GMO'd it all naturally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everything out there is a natural GMO. Absolutely. Where do you think nectarines came from? So much food we have was sort of built, right, through cross-pollination. How did we get all those different varieties of things? Like we worked it out, right? And anyway, my point is you actually cannot eat as you did in the Paleolithic era. You can't, because those things don't really exist. Like corn's ancestors had a few kernels per stalk. Right? On this tree, this tree makes the big apples. Let's plant its seeds. Absolutely. That's all I'm saying. So I just always roll my eyes a little bit when people are like, I'm going to eat like they did back then. Lemons, they did not appear naturally. Oh, right? It's kind of a hard time of mammoth steak. But also, here's the other thing. We don't live in the Paleolithic era. The people who lived in the Paleolithic era had a very different lifestyle than we do. Right? They did not have the lifestyle that we have right now. I don't think it would be healthy for us to eat like Paleolithic people ate. Yeah, I just don't think, I just don't think it would be, I just don't think it's a good idea. Even if it were possible, which it isn't. And corn was originally smaller kernels and was white, not yellow. Right. And yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Also, there are a number of things we did not have in the Paleolithic era, like antibiotics, also air conditioning, also banjos. Like, there are a bunch of stuff we've gotten post Paleolithic era that I'm very glad that we have. Also, we have a much longer life expectancy. You know what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying? And like Valtiel, refrigeration. Can you imagine the way that refrigeration has changed our society? You know what I mean? Like it's electricity. Large, like we don't have to go back that far. Like water wheels, they didn't have that in the Paleolithic era. There's just a bunch of stuff. Dentists, there's a bunch of stuff that we have invented in the last thousand so plus years that I'm glad we have that makes my life way better. And yeah, right. The stove, right? The stove. Hawkeye, or steel knives to cut your paleo veggies with. We'd love to see these paleo people cut their food with stone knives. This is like, you all are on my wavelength. You know what I'm talking about. Forks, right? Many recipes changed in the last 120 years due to refrigeration. Absolutely. Absolutely. And like, I'm here for it. Like, also a lot of people died in the past. Like this is another thing I feel like was like, oh, back when, when if you were a woman, you're probably just gonna die in childbirth. Like back when the reason why the life expectancy was so short is because so many people died before they were 2 years old. Is that when you want to live? Like back when bubonic plague, back when, like I am happy not to live then. Like I don't know that I just don't understand this romanticization of a time period where I don't think it would have been really fun to live, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that it's perfect now, but I am saying that a lot of things back then would not have been fun, especially for me. Like, would just not have been a fun time, is all I'm saying. Oops, you got a tooth infection. RIP. Yep, yes, right? Like, they all died in the past. That's how it works. You know what I mean. A lapstone knife was sharper, but it was more brittle, right? It was more brittle. Hollow gourds for their spoons, elastic to make forks. I'm very happy to live in the modern world. Yes, I hope you like hunting and gathering for weeks, right? And like feast and famine, we're like, yeah, Also, I was talking to Wandering DM Simon, and he was talking to me about this cheese from Europe, of which there are many different types. This one comes from, it's a Corsican cheese, and it has live maggots in it. It's a soft cheese, has live maggots in it. They use the maggots to help cure the cheese, and I understand that it's rotten. It's like just rotten cheese is what it's like. It's rotten, but like the maggots help cure it and people eat it. And it was, of course, poor people's food, right? Like you go back to the medieval era, a lot of poor people ate stuff because they had to. Do you know what I mean? They had to. That's what they had to do. That's what they had. And this cheese is currently illegal because the EU has food health standards, like none of that. But it makes like $2 billion a year on the black market because people like make it and sell it in the black market. This cheese. So there are like a bunch of different types of these maggot cheeses, basically. There's darn good protein right there, right? Yeah, illegal cheese. Now I kind of want it. No, black market cheese vendors. And actually, there's a lot of black market food, even in the United States, because the United States has a lot of things that are illegal in the United States that were not illegal in Europe, and so people would smuggle them in. A number of cheeses. Actually, it's so fascinating because a lot of cheeses are illegal in different places, right? Like cheese is quite a banned item. Very interesting, I think. Oh, there's black market maple syrup. Valtio, I didn't know that. What makes it? Thank you, Lauren Danger. That's it. Kasumarzu. That's the name of the cheese. That's the name. Look it up on Wikipedia. Look it up. That's the name of the cheese. Thank you. Illegal homeless feeding is a U.S. thing, unfortunately. Yeah. Because of the molding process. So, right? Yeah. So I would just say, like, ponder it. Think about it. Like, I think that's really fascinating, personally. But my point being that just because it's old doesn't mean it's good. Do you see what I'm saying? By the way, I was crawling. I'm going to stop crawling. Like, just because it's old and ancient doesn't mean it's a thing that I want. Leprosy is also old and ancient, and I do not want it. Those are just my feelings. If you want leprosy, more power to you. I do not want leprosy. Uh, yeah, I've never really understood. I think it's because we teach history poorly, right? I think people's idea of like, oh, I want to live in the past, is not based in the past, but like movies, where it seems like, do you know how gross London was in the 1600s? London was so polluted. London is a massive city, and it was so polluted. There were dead bodies floating in the Thames, horses, people, whatever. People would just defecate in the rivers. Like, am I winning? I actually feel like I'm winning. To be honest, I feel very winning right now. I feel very good about where we're at. I feel good. I feel like we're not in a bad space physically. I'm carrying less than I like. I've got more encumbrance space, which means I'm moving faster. I feel like everything's coming up roses. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Even 1900, right? And then 800 was, oh yeah, right? Oh, absolutely. You said 600, so I thought you were talking about like 1899. No, but actually, the late 1800s, London was gross. Late 1800s, the middle of the Industrial Revolution, where people were just dumping toxic chemicals everywhere. It was gross. Speaking of toxic chemicals, I had a thought about that too. So I lived in Augsburg, Germany, which is a actually, I don't have to talk about Augsburg. I could talk about where I'm living at right here. I'm living in the Boston area, Medford, Somerville. I'm going to come out here because I need to tell you, I don't want to lose my train of thought with this one. You ran a call Cthulhu games at 1600 or around there once. Good times. Actually, 3 times. Nice. There's a river here, the Mystic River. There's that movie, Mystic Pizza. So the Mystic River is this river, and it's right over there. And the Mystic River is beautiful, but there's this whole deal with the Mystic River, which is that you're not there's a problem in that counterpoint. London is still gross. The thing is, the Mystic River riverbed, the riverbed of the Mystic River is super super toxic. It is really really toxic. Like, I don't think you're allowed to go swimming in it. You can boat on it, but I don't like. There's a thing like the top of the river I think is fine, but the bottom is super super toxic. And there's a lot of like debate, I think, in like the Medford City Hall and the City Hall and the places around around the Mystic, what to do with it. And the reason why is because the Mystic River was used to transport goods back in the day, 18th century, 19th century. People would barge goods up and down. And because it was a river, a lot of rivers have textile factories that would be on the river because you would use the water to power your water wheels and to power your factories and all that. And actually, you just need a lot of water for textiles. You need a lot of water for textiles to sort of process them. This is because that's the same thing with Augsburg. Augsburg had all these. It's called the Venice of the North, right? Because it has all these canals. Augsburg, the city in Germany, some Bavaria. So all these canals because it was a really big textile city in the medieval era. You need a lot of water to process medieval Renaissance era to process that, and that's super toxic, right? So the Mystic River for a couple hundred years, right, has all these really really toxic, gross chemicals that have seeped into the riverbed. And as long as you don't disturb it, you'll be fine. But the problem is they want to dredge it. They want to make the river better. But to do that, you've got to deal with the fact that there's like a couple hundred years worth of toxic chemicals leached into the sediment. And that is such an expensive cleanup that they're like, maybe we should just leave it alone. So the point is that people like to think about, people are like, oh, today we do so much pollution. We're so bad now. Back then it was this paradise. I was like, oh no, it was gross. Like, it was not like people polluted then too. And it was like before the EPA, the Hudson River caught on fire more than once. And the EPA was in the 70s, right? Like, we had gross toxicity, and we had a whole new ozone layer in the 80s. Like, I know that it's very disconcerting and disheartening. You think we're all going to die because of like global warming and all this, and I know that we have bad problems, but I will also point out that we have at times been worse, and I feel like we can do something about it. That's what I think. I believe it. Um, Plus emerald green all over in wet rooms, washing the arsenic out of the wallpaper, killing Londoners. Yeah, absolutely. There's a problem with the Mystic River, says Scary Neck. Sounds like a young adult detective novel. In the USA somewhere, or where we are we Mystic? In the USA, in Massachusetts, there's a river called the Mystic River. Schmelzer says, I still remember when I was a kid, the river in our village would be a different color every week because there was a dye work upstream. Yeah, right. Because that's the thing. People somehow imagine that somehow corporations or like factory work. I mean, like factory work is like turn of the century, but like we've had toxicity for quite some time, right? All those like, yeah, yeah. Puppenkiste is the best thing coming out of Augsburg. Ice Bunny says you. Augsburg has many awesome things. Many awesome things come out of Augsburg. That's what I say. Doesn't one of the Great Lakes, Erie, maybe still catch on fire occasionally? Oh, yeah. Yeah, most we like the EPA came in and did a lot. Like the government came in and was like, no, 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 stop that, right? And they've really done a lot. We've done a lot to clean up our waterways since the 1960s, so we're much better now. But there was a time when like people just dumped chemicals in the water system because there was no regulation. They just did, and then it was like gross. It was gross. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm saying to you. Okay, so we are here. We are going to go to a new place and do a new thing. What is that place? What are we doing? That is a good question. There's a map. In our map, there was a there's like a here. We want to go here to this Joplin's bunker raid, right? We want to go there. So we need to turn around, go the opposite direction. We need to go this way, I think. So also, I don't need to have my lamp on. So we're putting it away. We just don't need it on. I know that we need more firewood, but I am concerned about, oh no, let's do it. We're gonna break down this. We're breaking this down. We're getting firewood.
Made it through another night.
Yeah. Also, it is apparently very cold. And
My fingers feel numb.
I don't feel good about how cold it is. And we are losing heat real fast. We've only been outside for like 2 seconds. What is that? Oh my goodness. Paper mills, Scabby Neck. Paper mills were so bad. There's a paper mill 50 miles away from me on the same river as my town. When the wind is right, wrong, it smells like an outhouse. Also slaughterhouses, right? Abattoirs. I will also note that if we went back to 1600, a lot more of us would be living on farms, working those farms, never leaving those farms, rather than living in toxic groceries. That's true, but as Krella notes, pick your hell. Absolutely, absolutely. Oh gosh, I just have got some hypothermia. Okay, we are going to have to right now make a fire and warm up, or we will die. That is a thing that we're going to have to do.
I've never felt so cold.
I know. I'm so sorry to do that to you. We're going to try to find a windbreak. I realize we should probably not be going backwards, but we are going backwards. Windbreak? I don't want to go all the way back to the cave, although the cave is just right over there. I think we're going back to the cave, everybody. It's just right there. It's just right there. And it's indoors, and we can warm up. And there's already a fire camp place. It'll be fine. Also, we need to eat food anyway, so we're just going to go in there. We're going to go back into our cave. I do not feel like I'm that much kinder to Astrid. She just, look, I don't make her walk on broken legs because she doesn't break her ankle all the time. She's just not nearly as brittle as some people, and also far less of a whiner than some people. Which people? It's a mystery who those people might be. Speaking of which, by the way, we have a giveaway, and that giveaway is for a game whose title is right over there, but it is behind that thing, so I cannot see it. Although I can if I do this, because that's how I get my cursor back. The Ambassador Fractured Timelines. That's what it is. So just say something in the next 5 minutes, and then in 5 minutes I'm gonna find out who won our our giveaway. Is it daytime or we? No, it's daytime. Let's see where we did. I did put my clothes back on. Don't know. Like I'm wearing them, so like I don't know what to do about that one. One of the most polluting places on the earth is from ancient Greece. Oh, huge mountains of rubble with lead in it from silver mines. Yeah, yeah. People like to imagine that somehow, like we were only crappy now. We've been crappy for a long time. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like only now are we bad, and back then they were great for the environment. Everything was like perfect back then, and now we are the worst. We've always kind of been a little bit the worst. Is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to light this match and find that. Oh, there we go. Wow, this is here it is. Here's a campfire. We're gonna start this fire, and then we're going to warm up, eat some food. You know, kind of do that thing that you do. Recover is what we're gonna do. To be fair, it does feel like Astra whines a lot less. Yeah. Is it sexism or is it just because Astra complains less? I think it's because she complains less. She also gets injured less. She complains way less.
Perfect.
She complains way less. She complains a lot less. And not only does she complain a lot less, he's always up in my business, complaining about things to me. And I find that frustrating. I'm also, while we're here, going to eat heavy foods. Just eat some heavy foods while we're here, and drink some water while we're here. You know what I should probably do? I should probably get more water. While I'm at this fire, why don't we cook some more water? Because we probably just should do that. Also, while we're here, we should just make sure our clothes aren't wet. Not too wet. It's all right. I feel like we're actually, look at that. We're not in a bad way. We're pretty decent. I am, however, going to repair those long johns. Just do a little bit of repairing. You know, it'll what happened? Did it not work? Looks like it didn't work. What's up with that? There we go. Not bad at all. Ooh. How long do we have in our fire? Okay, we have time in our fire. I am going to repair those socks. Repair. Adam Smith is correct. Humans are a virus. We are giving away the game, The Ambassador Fractured Timeline, which is an indie action-adventure RPG. And that's what we're going to give away. And we're going to give it away now. Shortly. Oh, hey there. Let's repair this too. The shade. There we go, right? And, oh, hey, that needs to be repaired while we're here. Repair that. Where are we? Yeah, we're gonna go back to our cave, and then we're gonna head back out. It's also daytime. I don't even know why. Ooh, hey, this is almost burning out. Oh, hold on a second. Add fuel. Let me just add a little bit of cedar firewood because I don't remember what's happening with our. Oh, you know what we did? Our water burned out. We just like totally burned our water through, so that was awkward. Yeah. So that was not the best. Let's pay attention to our water this time so that, we're going to just pay attention to our water this time and stop being a little bit ridiculous. I apologize for the ridiculosity on that one. Yes. But while we're here, might as well eat a little bit more wolf meat while we're here. and then drink a bunch of this water since we have a whole bunch more water, and it'll lighten our load, and we are full of responsibility right now, and we are a little tired, but I don't want to walk. We're gonna just take some torches, is what we're gonna do. And nope, that wasn't what I wanted. Nope, nope, nope. We're gonna just take. We can't take any more torches. We're done. That's it. We're also going to save. Yes, yes. All right. Let's see. Keep torches. Krellin only wins things when Krellin doesn't want to. That's all. I can make something for that too. Nice. Language is a virus. Laurie Anderson is right. But now we're the worst on a bigger industrial scale. Yeah, it's true. We need a montage of Mackenzie complaining. You know, if I recall correctly, Astrid did look a lot tougher. Yeah, she did, right? And she also, I got this sense. Steven says it's a twin stick fantasy shooter. That's not what Humble Bundle said. Interesting. Mackenzie looked broken. He might have used to be tough. That's what I was thinking, Scabinak, actually, right? The humidity at some point. Yeah, I'm going to do the giveaway while we're here chatting. I'm going to do the giveaway. So one of the things I thought was interesting is that I really got the sense that Mackenzie has not really been... I got the sense that Mackenzie maybe has been drinking and letting himself go recently because of whatever happened in their past together. I don't know. He kind of looked like he had let himself go and was not really in shape as much anymore. Whereas it seemed like Astrid was like out there traveling, right, to like remote spaces as a doctor. So I kind of get the sense that she's just probably more in shape than he is, and more motivated to deal with hardship. And I feel like he's... Donal! I need a song. Donal, congratulations. You have won a Steam code for a gift code for the Ambassador Fractured Timelines. I'm going to message this to you, and then all I really want is I will tell you what I want. What I really want. What I want is when you play it, just let us know how it is. Like just come in and say like, oh, it was like this. Let us know. I'm going to message you in like right now if I can see. What you cannot. I have put my camera over there so it actually blocks some of my sight lines a little bit, so that's a little bit awkward. So there you go. Ta-da! Would wine not be powder if it is dry? Maybe. Well, I'm sure you can make a dehydrated wine, but actually, I imagine it's kind of tricky, right? Because I don't know if all things naturally just turn into powder. I think that some powder turning is like an industrial process. Like you actually have to do something to make it turn to powder. I think some things don't. Like some things crystallize. Yeah, I don't know if like turning to powder when dry is like a natural occurring thing for all things. That is my thought on that one. I cannot confirm or deny, but I believe that is the case, right? That not everything turns immediately to powder. Hey, it's like I'm finally able to pay attention to what's been going on. We'll have to go back to the VOD to see what. Oh, she like it's really cold outside. Is all I'm trying to say. You're welcome, Donal. When you play it, just let me know how it was, if you enjoyed it, what it was all about. Lauren says, I'm being harassed by a cat, so it must be time for food or cuddles or something. Thus, bye, everyone. I will see you soon again. Thank you. And by the way, Lauren Danger, if Lauren Danger, would you drop a link? What is your YouTube just youtube.com/Lauren Danger? Is that your YouTube channel's name? Because you should go and watch her YouTube channel. She makes these really cool videos about medieval fighting. It's very, very good. You should watch them. They sold wine powder during Prohibition with instructions how not to use it to make wine, as that was illegal. Absolutely. It was really nice to have you here, Lauren. Thank you for being here. They call sour wine dry, and that is odd because it's a liquid. Oh, same one. Oh, Lauren, thank you, Lauren. Right there, Lauren Danger Shaw. That's the channel. You should go there and check out her videos. They're very cool. Like if you like historical, like smart people talking about historical weaponry. Oh, Lauren, before you go, spear versus sword, go. Spear versus sword. Uh, I just want it. Spear wins. Spear wins. This seems to be the consensus. Spear wins. There we go. There we go. Spear 90% of the time. Yeah, right. See? This leads me to an RPG thought that I feel like I should share with you all. We're gonna go up this rise and see what we can get. That's what we're gonna do. Ooh, there's some mushrooms. I don't need the mushrooms right now. I've got mushrooms. We're gonna walk up this way. That's what we're doing. That's it. We're walking. And hope we can walk. We're walking so fast and not die of hypothermia. Running my Cthulhu Dark Ages game, I was happy none of my players end up with swords. Swords were often sometimes also restricted about who could have them depending on when and where. I would say cat claws for the win. Swords are dumb weapons for uppity nobles. Spears are weapons that win wars. Roman javelin, says Chromatic. Also says, I would think spear wins unless the spear pole is made out of the same material as Mackenzie's ankle. Valtiel, I feel like you just murdered me. That was hilarious. I'm shocked that Trooper's having RPG thoughts. I know, right? There was a tweet that I wanted to come back to. I wanted to share with you all. Now, Curlin, says Lauren. A sword inside a smaller space is excellent. On a battlefield, take a spear. Yes. I suppose, yeah, what about... Well, mounted, you probably want something else, right? You probably want some kind of a pole weapon. I thought arrows and bows won wars. Weren't swords essentially sidearms you drew once your lance broke or you lost your warhammer or mace or something? Ostrid. I kind of feel like Ostrid has been out. Also, she doesn't like, she not only does she complain less about the elements, she seems less. I just kind of get the sense that she's been up here quite a bit because that's the sense I get. And I think that Mackenzie has not. So I feel like Mackenzie is out of his element. And that's why he complains so much. That's all. But he's complaining to me. Lindy! We were talking about you earlier. Lancer yeah. We were talking about you earlier, Lindy. I want you to know that we were. I had your name in my... is that a fire? Hey, there's a fire. Also, oh, that's the plane. That's the plane crash, I think. I want to go up here. We've got to find a way to get up this way. So the question is there a turnoff? I didn't see one. We're going to walk back up. We're not like losing heat too fast. We're going to walk back up and see if there's a way up this way or if we have to go around. If you see something, let me know. If you see something, say something. Yes. This is all getting so deep. When you lose your Warhammer, you have to get your rune quest. Yes. Maybe we go this way? I'm going to try walking that ridgeway and see if that'll take us where we need to go. Post the question in Discord, Dogs. Good, thank you. What were you talking about? Yes, we were talking all about you. Outrageously. I was complimenting you about the ways in which you commission art, and also that you constantly seek out new artists, and you keep good records of not only people that you have used, but people you haven't used yet. So if somebody were looking for artists, you are an amazing resource. But also, how cool is it that you actually go and commission art regularly? So it was just a lot of talking about how wonderful and awesome you are. It was, that was it. It was like, you are great and awesome in so many ways. That was the story. I should stop leaning over thinking that'll make my visibility better, but I just feel like it will. Oh, so sorry about that. No, she's not complaining, by the way. We will fix it. We will fix your wrist. Notice she's not complaining. And by the way, I always fix Mackenzie's broken everything. It's just that like he just like complains real fast. He's just like always, always, always complaining all the time. Let us use this to fix that. She like how often has she like and I think we need some painkillers. We have some painkillers over here. And we will use them. Complain. Yes. Your addiction. I'm totally not commissioning something right now. Speaking of which, I actually want, you know, that project that I want to like get 30 pieces of art for, depending on how you wanted to count the pieces of art. I realize if I do it the right way, I might be able to do it double duty and use it for a different thing that I want to do, which would be super cool as well if I had the extra time to do it. And I would love to have the extra time to do it at some point in time because the thing that I want to do would be so cool. But I just am going to need, it's just going to be a, okay, let's try scooting down this way. Let's see if we don't die. We're going to try. Looks like we're not dead. Okay. Okay. All right. We're not dead. Looks like we can make it. I just remembered something, by the way. Hey, look at us. Not dying. Astrid's a trooper. Astrid's a trooper right now. She's a trooper. And, respect. I was going before I get harshly meowed at. Okay, go. We keep going the direction we were going and hang right ASAP. I'm forced to use a public domain art because I have no money. Yeah. And sometimes I do it myself. I'm like, I once was like a much cooler artist than I am now. What is that? But, I feel like that's where we're headed. Is it not? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm taking her off of, like, really... We're going to get down off this place, and then I will heal you back up again. Don't worry about it. Once we just get on, like, more flat ground. I gotta say, she was climbing down a mountainside. That's all I'm saying, and she was not complaining about it. I am in a thing tomorrow evening. I have neglected to update my calendar, but it is true. I'm in a thing tomorrow evening. I'm going to be playing Fiasco over on Roll20 tomorrow. And let us use this bandage for our left hand. And I have to just update. That's what I'm doing tonight. I've been like so swamped. It's actually been kind of bad. It's been kind of bad. You don't even want to know how bad it's been. It's been kind of bad. I've been just in nonstop meetings over and over and over again, every day, la-di-da-di, all the time, every day, all the time. And I've got more work meetings tomorrow, which again is not like my joy in life, but yeah. Anyway, I've got to update those things. And I will. But yes, I've got a thing tomorrow at 7, which I am 7 Eastern, which I'm very excited about. Also, there's supposed to be a thing around here, maybe? That's an outhouse. Let's look at our map. We are here. Okay, we are here. The Forest Talker's been raiding Joplin's prepper caches. Whatever supplies remain could help you survive pleasantly long enough to find a way out. Search the caches to see what's left. Okay, but the question is... locate the first bunker. That's what we have to do. Okay, so there's going to be a bunker around here somewhere, and that is what we have to do. We have to find the bunker, which is going to be somewhere around here, but apparently it's not in the outhouse. All right, we're going to just go kind of like moseying around looking for it while we're chatting. That's what we're going to do. I spent birthday and Christmas. Oh, yeah, Lindy. Look, there it is. I'll tell you about it. I spent birthday and Christmas money on it, yeah. Ace, I have this really cool idea. I don't want to say it out loud yet because I was like, oh, this might be so we'll have to see what happens. But I was also inspired by, we'll talk about it. I was inspired by stuff. And ooh, hey. Ooh. Wait, what is that? What's going on? What is happening? Let's save. Let's save. Let's save. We're just gonna save. We're gonna just save. I'm gonna drink water. Oh, I can't draw. No. Right now, all of our risks are no longer. The cast is the cast for Fiasco Surprise. No, I retweeted what I retweeted. Oh gosh, I didn't tell you this. Oh my gosh, I just found out because I didn't know who was on the cast until they tweeted the they made a tweet about it, and I have to tell you who's on this cast because I'm gonna kind of die, right? Ooh, roll 20. Someone's getting famous, and so I'm not famous. Nope. We're turning that whale with a sprained wrist. No. Our wrist is fine now. We bandaged it up. Took a painkiller. We're good. We're good. Yell about it to me later. I will. Peter Atkinson, Trooper, Jason Morningstar, and host Jen Vaughn. So Jason Morningstar is playing Fiasco. I am playing Fiasco with Jason Morningstar. Jason Morningstar. And Jason Morningstar wrote Night Witches. Also, The Grey Ranks, which I have not yet run, which is about child soldiers in Warsaw during the uprising in occupied Poland. Really good. Also, actually, I have quite a lot of his games, to be honest. I do. I've not run them. I've only run 2 of his games, but actually I have quite a few of his games. He has this one called Winter Home, which is about how governments infiltrate and then undermine freedom movements and radical political movements. And I really want to run that one at one point in time. He's got one called Carolina Death Crawl, which is about this this unit, I think from North Carolina, that was, or maybe they weren't from North Carolina, but they were like a southern unit, but on one of the border states that actually was fighting for the North, and then they got cut off and they have to make their way back, and it's like very grim. He makes a lot of really grim historical games, and so I love him. And I get to be playing in a game with him, which like that. I mean, that's all. It's kind of scandalous to me. Great headshot. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Jer. I took it myself. I was going to go off to it's funny. Goblin Katie said, hey, there is this, when I was in Atlanta, there's this black tie party. Do you want to go? Right? Do you want to come with me to this black tie party? And I was like, well, yes, of course I'll accompany you to this black tie party, but here's the one problem. I only took with me to Atlanta things that I thought I might need while I was, well, I only took with me out of Massachusetts things that I might need within that time frame, which involved period clothing, because I might have gone to Gen Con and like GM'd Clockwork Dominion, and also there are streams that I might have been wearing some of that for for a State of Affairs. So like there was plausible reasons for me to take period fancy clothes, but I did not have any modern fancy clothes. So I was like, so will it be a problem if the fancy clothes that I wear are like basically 19th century fancy clothes? And she says, they're all LARPers, it'll be fine. And so I went and it was fine. So, but before I left, I was like, oh, I should probably take like a photograph of myself in this outfit. And so I did. And that's where that comes from. Jason Morningstar gets to play with me. Oh, Baron-Tor. Valtiel, I love Night Witches. I just thought about that. Does this Morningstar guy know of your Night Witches stream? I have no idea. I don't know. Chromatic says, I've played the Death Crawl game, very Southern Gothic. Ooh, I really want to play it. I just need more time. But honestly, this is one of the reasons why, how do I put this? I'm going to say this. Yeah. At this moment in my life, I do not have time to run 2 regular streams on my channel. In the summer, I'm going to try to see if I can do that, but during the school year, I just can't. And because I cannot run 2 regular streams, one of the things I think is pretty awesome about there are a lot of reasons why I like running Colos in seasons where there's a break, and one of those is to be kind to the players so they get to have a break to do other things. So they, they can do other things for like a month or 2 months. Like, and usually our break is like historically our break has been between 1 and 2 months depending on just like what's happening. And one of the great things about having that season break, other than the fact it's very nice for the players and it gives me time to do extra research and plan new things and all of that, it also gives me an opportunity to run something else in the interim. So far, I've usually been running Cthulhu Confidential, which you know I'm still gonna do. But like, if I can think about it, maybe like okay, maybe I can do Cthulhu Confidential, and then maybe I can do like because that usually only takes 2 to 3 sessions. Maybe I can then do if we do like a month and a half break. Maybe I can run Carolina Death Crawl. Maybe I can run right. Like so like there it gives me an opportunity to run some other things that I've wanted to run but have not been able to. Also, however, I'm really lucky and honored to be able to GM on other channels, which also gets me the opportunity to GM some things that I have wanted to GM but haven't been able to. So that's really cool. So those things are pretty awesome. I know you wouldn't be allowed to say if it's even a thing, but holy moly, do I want more of the Clockwork Show. Look, I can't say if it's a thing, but I hope so too. I suspect it will be, although it probably will happen midsummer, right? Like in the same way that we did a State of Affairs during Christmas, and then we came back again the next Christmas for like more State of Affairs. I'm pretty certain, like, I'm not like I cannot confirm or deny, but I'm pretty certain another 6 shot of Midsummer Mysteries is on the cards for the Midsummer. I that possibility that would not surprise me if that happened. And I already bought books on Yoruba religion, right? Because if you remember when we left off the cast, they had gone to Africa, is where they ended up. They sort of popped out. There's and look, that was not me. That was the cards they drew. They drew some Pontus events at important moments, and they ended up in Africa, where Kalechi's was taken from actually, but he hadn't been there for a couple hundred years, and like his like 100 years or so, right? And his people remembered him, and so that's where they ended up. And because of the way that Clockwork Dominion works, all folk tales are true, sort of, right? So are there elves? Well, there is energy that becomes elves because we believe in it, but that means that all of those things all exist in certain ways. And so those books are actually probably in that stack. This stack is like, there you are. This stack is books that probably need to go back to my office, my departmental office, because those are all basically like academic texts over there, things I'm using for my book and etc. And that stack over there, those are books that are not going back to my office because there's a lot of World War II French resistance books over there, and sort of like books that I would use for gaming stuff. And I believe I have some of my books on African, specifically Yoruba religion over there as well, because I'm doing my research because our PCs are currently there, and if they're gonna be, I'm just noting it, so I'm just letting you know if you were interested that I do have books that I'm doing research on for that, is all I'm saying. Carlin says 19th century men's fancy fashion is somewhat different from modern men's fancy fashion, but on a fundamental, they're basically the same. The PB sessions were amazing. I knew she'd be amazing. It's funny because there was a bit of a conundrum going on. I'm going to get back into it for a second, but I just want to drink my water. I mean, if you step back far enough, all clothes are the same. Do you know what I mean? Depends on how you do it. Chromatic says, I was in Portland every Tuesday night. It was an indie one-shot game night with about 6 tables of... Oh, that's so cool. 2 things. 1, PB sessions, how that happened. 2, Jason Morningstar. Those are the 2 things I wanted to say. And I'm going to say Jason Morningstar first. And then I'm going to say about the PB. By the way, I just want to note that something bad was going on, but it is warm in here, so maybe I can sleep here, right? Because I am getting tired, so maybe I can sleep here, and that would be kind of cool, right? I think. So there's this thing about
Looks like this has been here a while.
Jason Morningstar that I want to ask him because it's a question, it is a it's a thing that I've wondered ever since Night Witches. But it is not Night Witches. It's not just me. Jason Morningstar. There are a couple other people that I would ask,
Anymore.
but I want to ask him because he said this thing, and I have some questions, and he can answer this question for me. So I want to ask him. And sorry, I have 3 things that I want to tell you. 1, Jason Morningstar. 2, PB sessions. 3, this tweet that I saw that I was thinking about because of Lauren Danger, because it has to do with combat and RPGs. Somebody asked for something they wanted. Somebody asked for something that they wanted in.
This will come in handy.
Yeah, we're gonna take that. We're loading up. I realize that, but we'll work it out. It'll be fine. I have a storm lantern. We'll take that lantern fuel. That is a good thing to have. Yes. Sorry, but Jason Spear is better than Jason Morningstar. That's actually probably true. I mean, I feel like that's actually just probably true. I can't wait for our break on the show I'm on. We got 2 more weeks and we go on break. I actually, look, Carl and Jason Storm may be better against heavy plate than Jason Spear. Well, that's also fair. Number 1, Jason Morningstar. Number 2, PB. 3, that tweet. Thank you. By the time we have heavy plate, we also have firearms. That would be Jason Arcbus. So we are now in the moment where we have Jason Arcbus. That's also possible.
Take it.
Look, I'm getting a bunch of stuff, which I'm going to have to spend some time breaking down, and that'll be fine. Okay, so number 1 is Jason Morningstar. So let me tell you about this thing that I find fascinating. So if you do or do not know how, we're going to take all of this stuff, by the way, and I know it's going to make us a little heavy, but this is food. Like, I'm trying not to take extraneous things, but I want to take the things that I feel like we really, really need. And also, I feel like I should maybe have a lantern on because it's a little dark. And with this lantern on, we can see way more things. So, yes. Like this thing that I did not pick up. Antibiotics. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this. This is good. Okay, so, but Jason Matchlock is heavily unreliable. I love this right now. So, if you do not know Night Witches, first off, it's an amazing, amazing game, and I highly recommend it. Well, to some people. Some people probably wouldn't enjoy it. But if there are people who would enjoy it. It is my favorite Powered by the Apocalypse game. It does things that are actually a little bit different than how Powered by the Apocalypse tends to do things. It makes some changes that I suppose some Powered by the Apocalypse folks may not like, but I love. That I think is just... I'm really overburdened at this moment, but that is okay because I am going to use the workbench to build stuff. And like, I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna, yeah. I'm gonna just, do some stuff right now and we're gonna see how that goes. Oh, hey, look, I can make an arrow. I can make an arrow, folks. Let's do it. We're gonna make an arrow because I've never made one before and I'm very excited about this. Also, I'm gonna eat food and like do all that. Oh, I get to make more arrows. I am very excited about my life right now, about all this. Like, this is very cool. I'm very excited by this. What are we using for materials right now, actually? Before we go further. Okay, arrowhead shafts. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're not using things that we need for other things. I made 2 arrows. Maybe I shouldn't be as proud of this as I am, but I am. So, also, since this seems like a safe place. We're kind of gonna use what we can while we're here, and use up right as much as we like. I'm feeling good about this right now. Wait, hey, it's the Aurora. It's the Aurora, everybody. Well, that's I don't want to like that. That's how are you feeling, everyone, about that? Wait, ooh. You know, I'm gonna just save right now. When the Aurora happens, it makes me a little nervous. Yeah. This is good stuff to be picked. I think so. If I'm up against heavy plate, I'm gonna rely on Jason Cannon. So what's the Crow? That's what the Crow Throws are for. Trooper, did you say you wanted to? Yes. We do have the flashlight, but we don't need it because there are overhead lights going on, which is.
This stuff will come in handy.
By the way, I know I'm kind of burdened right now, but it's a lot of cloth that I'm going to be able to break down, and it will be less heavy in the end. And I'm not, by the way, noting it. I'm not breaking down all those like boxes and crates because that's fire. Ooh, yes. That's firewood stuff that's important, but like I can find that out there in the world. So, ooh, this is good stuff, folks. Also, I'm clearly overburdened, but I also need to sleep and eat and like make a fire. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna use up materials and we will be okay. We will be okay. I am not worried about it. Okay, so the thing about Jason Morningstar, you know what? I think I actually might need, I'm in a kind of a darker spot. Let's use this flashlight. Hi. Woo! Love it. So Jason Morningstar, oh, hey, look at that, Code Talkers. We are, yes, and there's a bed here. There's a bed. This is great. This is great. Forest Talker Collectible, Part 3. As the years fall away in front of us, so fall the boulders from the hills. All this will look like a victory for Great Bear. Even as Mother Nature recovers Pleasant Valley, whoever remains will be forced to adapt, die, or move on. I'm actually carrying a lot right now. But that's okay. That's okay. We are going to take care of this right now together by eating. I'm going to eat this fresh wolf meat. I'm going to drink. I'm going to eat one more thing. I'm going to eat something like maybe this moldy granola bar. Just want to like, get ourselves up. Yeah. And then I'm going to drink a buttload of water. I'm not quite certain how much is a buttload, but I'm going to drink it. And since we're here, I'm going to do a little bit of like, while we're chatting, a little bit of breaking down of things. Also, I'm going to save because I'm just afraid, like, I don't know why I feel like a giant bear is going to find me in this bunker and then murder me, but I just have these concerns. So while we're here, I'm going to just, check out the clothes. You do this kind of a thing. Okay. So I'm telling you 3 things. 126 gallons equals a bucket. That actually makes sense. Oh, see, there's just a bunch of wool toques, which we're going to, yeah. So here's what you get. I think the reason why I like Night Witches is it's pretty simulationist. Anyway, so if you've never played it, the way it works is Night Witches is a game where you're women who are who are bombers, right? Russian bomber pilots during World War II who are using World War I era biplanes in order to bomb the Nazis. Like that's what that's about. And the way it's structured is that there are 6 duty stations. The first and the last, I think, are divided into 2 parts. But there are 6 duty stations, and each duty station has 6 missions, and you do the missions like you do like, and each you can divide each day into a day cycle and night cycle, and each night you do one of the missions, and in the day you do things like what do you do in the day? During the day, you do things like repair your plane, heal. Like you do a lot of like sort of RP, but also setup for. I wonder if these are good. Why don't I repair these and see oh wow. Just kind of like compare them to the pants we have, the cargo pants, because maybe I want to have one of each. We will see. Okay, great. So, all right, let's see. These pants are heavier, and they slow your movement down, it looks like a little bit, but they look to be way better, generally speaking. But what about the combat pants? The combat pants, these are, ooh. All right, so the combat pants are warmer, have more, you know what? It looks like the combat pants are just generally speaking way better than the cargo pants. So we'll wear those snow pants. And then we will destroy the cargo pants. All right, so I got you. We're going to be there. I just want to what do you think's better? Thermal underwear or long johns? Let's see. Let's repair it. This is kind of one of the reasons why you want extra cloth, because you can then kind of figure out, you have a better sense of like what's better and what's not better. So you do this like a day cycle with a bunch of RP and some like tasks, and then like the night cycle where you do the bombing mission. And you have to, like, you can't just, well, it looks like the other ones I've got are better. You can't just leave a duty station. You have to do a certain amount of missions before you can leave a duty station. So basically, when you're in a duty station, you either do all 6, and then you finish, then you can go on to the next duty station. Or if you get an advance, there is an advance that somebody can take which says, let's leave right now and go to the next duty station. So, right, basically, you're probably going to be doing at least 5 or 6, either all 6 or maybe 5 or 6 of those duty stations. So the reason why, well, that's done. Great. The reason why I bring this up is because of what Jason Morningstar said in the book, which is very different from my experience. I am going to, at this moment, drink some more water before I go to bed. And now we're going to go to bed. But I've got to find where the bed is. Just, there we go. Look, there it is. Great. We're going to go to bed right here. We'll sleep, we'll wake up, it'll be great. We'll just wait for that match to run out. It'll be fine. Just go to sleep right now. Take our, 8 hours of sleep. Okay, so Jason Morningstar says in the book Night Witches that you should be how oh yes, how long does it take to, he talks about the timing of the game, how long it takes to play the game, all that kind of stuff. He said you can do an entire duty station in one session, in one 4-hour session. If you watched me run Night Witches over on Geekspace TV, we could usually do 2 missions in one session. We were 3 and some, right? We could do 2 missions out of 6 in one session. So really, it would take us at least 2. If we were going to do all 6 of them, it would take us 3 sessions. And Night Witches was 13 episodes. So we basically did 4 duty stations in 12 weeks. And we had and we had the 13th session, which was what happens afterwards. So, and what happens, I just skipped 2 duty stations. We're going to fast forward this one and this one. We're going to do the first one, we're going to do the last one, and we'll do 1 or 2 in the middle. And thank you, Rissa. You and your players do a lot more role playing than his design expects, and that's what I think it is, Krellin. But it just feels how little RP do you do, right? Because there's a big difference between you can get through all 6 of these missions in one session, and we get through like 4 or 5, versus we only got through 2. And this is also the case from a number of sort of indie story games coming out of a kind of like an East Coast scene where they think a lot of these things will take very little time, but it's a lot of material to go through. And I just suspect they probably don't RP as much. And so I kind of have a question. Like, I have a question about that. Like, I think Fiasco, like the Fiasco game we're going to play, which is from 8, it's 8 to 10. 8 to 10 tomorrow. We're playing Fiasco. It's 2 hours. And I suspect that they're going to think they're going to get through all of the things. And I was like, ooh, okay. It's probably very, 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 very short scenes. And so I'm just kind of thinking about the different play cultures, right? Like thinking about, I assume that Jason Morningstar must come from a play culture where they just RP a lot less. And I'm going to note this. I'm going to just note this, that before I ran a Night Witches on Geek Space TV, I was a little nervous about running the game because it was like, I'm running this game that I've never run before. It's really important. It's on Geek Space TV. I want to do a good job, right? You know what I mean? Like, it was really important to me to do a good job. I had never run Powered by the Apocalypse before. I'd done lots and lots of research. I'd done a lot of prep, but I was like, I need to do something else to feel confident. So what I did was that I decided to run it before I ran Night Witches, before I actually ran Night Witches. I went to, you all know, some of you know who hangs out here in the chat. You know, DSB, that's Dahlia, and also Avita Amoeba, who you know as Anio, and Chris, who's like Viola something or other. I don't think you know Chris. Chris is in the Discord. I don't think you've ever, like, Chris is not there very often. Anyway, I was like, would you let me run you through like the first duty station of Night Witches before I actually run it online? Because I really want to make sure I do a good job. It was really important to do a really good job. And they said yes. And I ran it for them offline, like not online, offline. And we still got about 2 missions done in one night. So, and that was not online, right? It was just like us regular gamers. And we got about 2, maybe 3 in one session. We might have gotten 3, but I think we only got 2 in. So I'm just kind of, it's interesting to me to sort of to think about the different play groups and paces based on groups. Because most of the people I've played with, I just don't think, I just cannot imagine any of the people I've played with would have gotten, the general kind of groups that I play with who like that kind of stuff would have gotten through six missions in one 4-hour session. Like, I just don't see it. Like, I just don't see how that would have happened. And so they must have just like a very different vibe. And I want to know more about them, because Cthulhu Confidential tends to say that you can get through one mission in one session, and that has never happened. It's always been 2, sometimes 3. And there are a number of other games that are like, oh yeah, in this really story heavy game, you can get through this in like 3 hours. And I was like, Anyway, so I'm really curious, and I would like to see one of those groups play. That's what I really want to see, one of those groups play, to see. And also, I have run Cthulhu Confidential for Rissa. We did not take one session either. So I'm really curious. I'm really, because actually for Cthulhu Confidential, did the same thing with Cthulhu Confidential. I asked somebody that I know offline to let me run it for them first before I ran it online, because I really wanted to make sure, because like, I GM'd for like decades, but I hadn't GM'd online before, and it was not my channel, it was somebody else's channel, so I really want to do a good job. Anyway, so I really would love to see how they play. I would love to see how they play. And maybe that's what I want to see tomorrow. And maybe I'm just going to experience tomorrow. And I'm very excited by the prospect of seeing, I'm really excited, because I feel like I'm going to learn some really cool things. That's what I want to say. You spend like half an hour role-playing stuff before rolling a move, and that's not what PBTA assumes. Yeah. It's a lot like any board game box. The time playlist is always about, Yeah. I'd say it's probably between 1/6 and 1/10 as much role playing as you do. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. Also, Vulpas, I I love it when they're like, Krellin can probably attest to this. Arkham Horror, also Eldritch Horror. They're like, this plays in like 1 to 3 hours. And you're like, no, Arkham Horror does not. You're not finishing Arkham. Okay, wait. Let me take that back. I have finished games of Arkham Horror, Eldritch Horror, right? The big one. They're two different ones. I think it's mostly Eldritch Horror. Anyway, I have finished some of those games in an hour, usually because we died, like real fast. So, yes, that's what I'm gonna say. It was almost like 4 hours. Mhm. Sounds like maybe a totally different mindset. Yeah, I do owe you this. I clearly cannot do it right now. I have to wait till I actually have time, which I do not have right now, but I will get there. Hrothgar says, the group I spent my 20s and 30s was all about problem solving with very little RP. We could easily have just moved from task to task. That being said, I want to do more RP type groups. Although it's weird because the groups, like when I was in like very, very old school D&D groups that did not do as much RP, these were still not fast games because they spent a lot. Like it was like, look, it was old school D&D and it was like, I check this square for traps. I check this square for secret doors. I check this square. Like it was it was a reason why it was called a dungeon crawl and not a dungeon run, because it was very slow and methodical and everybody was like mapping, like hand mapping, and so it was like also slow. So I'm just not used to a lot of fast games. And what I think is interesting about that is that I started I had never gone to conventions, like gaming conventions, until recently when I went to Gen Con for the first time, because Gen Con was in Indiana and I'm from California and I had no money. So like I just never had gone to any gaming conventions until Gen Con. Because a friend of mine was like, hey, I have an extra spot in my hotel room. Do you want to come? And I was like, sure. And so that was my first time. Gen Con was really the first time I started playing one shots in a convention atmosphere. And and now I'm running them here and then. And that's a way different experience. So like it's just been I find it, for me, it's been a lot of personal growth experiencing these different modes of play, and so I'm always excited to learn more modes of play. I'm still amused how different my Vivian is from Jackie's. Me too. That's Rissa. Time to talk about PB sessions and our find good stopping point for us. Yes. Trooper, you have never time because the second you find 5 minutes free time, you immediately fill them with 10 minutes. I do try to find. I'm awake, right? I went to sleep. I'm now awake. I slept, right? I did. I slept. Yeah, okay, we're good. I'm gonna just eat. We're in a pretty good spot. I'm gonna eat. And what am I eating? PB. So what happened was, as you know, there are 3 canonic investigators in. Let's eat some stuff. Let's eat dog food because I think it's heavy. And I can drop some tin cans while I'm here. And let's eat this stale chocolate bar. Not bad. Also, I feel like we've got some things that are getting close to expiring. So I feel like we probably don't need this much food, but let's eat this dog food right now as we can. And yeah, we actually didn't overshoot too much. And then we're gonna drink our water. And then I'm gonna dump some tin cans, and then we're gonna go. Yes. Okay. So this is what. So there are 3 canonic investigators, right? And the 3 canonic investigators are Dex Raymond, L.A. private detective, very very classic noir. And then you have Vivian Sinclair, who's the reporter in New York City. And then you have Langston Wright, who is your veteran and in your vet in Washington, D.C., right? So those are your canonic 3. And I did Dex number 1. He died. I'm going to have to eat that condensed milk soon. So Dex number 1, he died. And then I did Vivian number 1. And then I did Langston #1. So I did the first 3. And then some people died, and I was like, I wonder what I'm going to do about that. I'm going to have to like ponder what I want to do about that death that happened. I wasn't quite certain what I was going to do. I was like, I have to just like think about it, like, but I'll think about it later. So I, that was up there to sort of ponder about. And then I did Vivian 2. That was like my choice. Like, I'll do Vivian 2. That'll like sort of keep me in this space until I figure out what I want to do about that. And then after I did Vivian 2, I scheduled to do Langston 2. That was what I scheduled. And unfortunately for me, and also for AJ's computer died. And AJ was not able to actually run. And that was right before I moved to Atlanta. I was going to do it that summer before I moved to Atlanta. We were planning on it, and I was like, okay, let's do it. I can't remember if it was like once or twice that I was planning on doing it, but basically his computer died, and there wasn't anything I could do about that, like, because he couldn't go, so I had to cancel that session. But I'd planned for it. I was all like set up to do it, but unfortunately could not. And then I think we were going to do it a second time. I think we were going to do this. Oh, we were going to do it this last time. I was like, okay, I want to do it for part 2, and I was like planning on it to do it here in January with him, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. And then he got a promotion, right? He got this really, really great promotion, which meant that he was super, super overburdened and could not. I need more scrap metal, and basically just couldn't. Yeah, I really need more scrap metal. That's the thing I'm gonna really, really need. Yeah, he just couldn't. He just couldn't do it because he was overworked. And so I was sitting there, I was thinking, okay, well, he can't do it, but I really do want to run Cthulhu Confidential. And there are people on the YouTube, hey YouTubers, who are like, hey, we really want to see it. And I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? And I was like, you know what? There is a 4th investigator, not in the main book, but for Free RPG Day, there is an investigator, Phyllis, and there is an adventure for Free RPG Day. And I was like, I can run that. And then I was like, but who can I run it for? And I said to myself, there is one person that I desperately want to run a horror game for. And that, of course, is PB. Like, I was like, I want to run Cthulhu Confidential for PB so bad. And I also want her to run me in a horror game as well so bad. And I was like, PB, yes? And she was like, yes. And so I was just really happy that I was able to do that. But also, now that I think about it, there is one more Phyllis adventure out there. So I know I've got another Phyllis that I can do, but there are also other Phyllis possibilities that I'm quite excited about. So I am just noting how cool that is, and I was very, very excited about that. So that was like kind of like some good joy, and I was really happy to just sort of come up with that, and I was really happy that PB said yes, because PB is so present, and I love that. And then the third thing I wanted to say, because I started a little bit late, so I get to go a little bit late. The third thing I wanted to say was about, oh, my firearm clinic has been broken beyond repair. What? Oh, all right. Well, then let me just drop that in that case, because if it's broken, then I don't need it. Then it's just weighing me down, and I want to make Krellin proud of me. But also, while we're here, and I'm just dropping things. There we go. Let's drop it. The tweet. And it's a funny thing. The third thing's about the tweet. And it was a funny tweet that I was like, I was about to respond to the tweet and like give an answer. Then I was like, actually, I don't think I'm going to, because I just don't think I'm going to, for various reasons. But the tweet was somebody, it's an interesting sort of genre of tweet that sometimes I respond to, sometimes I don't, depending on my mood. So the tweet was, hey, I think armor class is stupid. Like, I think armor class is, like, not smart. I don't like how it works. It doesn't make any sense to me that, like, wearing armor just makes you harder to hit. And like all my favorite uh, fight sequences in film and television are when there's like back and forth and like I attack you and somebody dodges or I attack you and somebody parries. So like I feel like we could have a game, an RPG, where instead of like I hit you and your armor class makes you harder to hit, like I hit you and like maybe you parry or you dodge. Like, are there any RPGs that are like that? Because like I feel like that's a really interesting idea. Instead of like just I hit you armor class, like I hit you and there's like a parry or a dodge situation. Like I wonder if anyone's ever done a game like that. And I'm not sure if she would have the time to be willing, but to do it. But another possible Phyllis. Well, yes, but now I already have my my Phyllis. I'm still actually I actually asked Anna Geeks if she could do something a little bit earlier, but she didn't have the time, and I was like, oh no. But she's still on my radar because I think Anna Geeks is pretty awesome, and I'm still just waiting for a moment when you know we both have time and I can rope her into something because I like her very much, and I want to do more things with her because I think she's just particularly awesome. And you're like, let me tell you a thing about Exalted. I don't know. Has anyone made a game like that? It's like, can't you look at AC narratively like it's like dodging, blocking if you don't hit? Oh, you can, but it doesn't feel that way, right? Because the player doesn't do anything, right? Armor does not make you hard once you realize hit does not mean touch with weapon. Yeah, but that's not how it plays, right? And I think that's the thing, that it doesn't feel like you dodged, right? And so this person was not feeling fulfilled by the experience of I roll to hit you, I succeed, you have been hit. I roll to hit you, I fail. That means you dodge dramatically, right? And when I say I hit, maybe I don't even actually hit you. It's like that. There's like a way of conceiving hit points that is not, that people will say, well, hit points aren't actually physical damage. But then why do healing potions bring your hit points back, right? So there are ways in which there's like inconsistency, I think, in how Dungeons and Dragons describes it. And for a lot of people, it just doesn't feel satisfying. It doesn't feel like that's what's going on in there. They're not happy with it. And they're like, I wonder if anything exists where you actually do something different. And they clearly just don't know about a lot of other games. The purpose of Mars is to take a blow that would deal damage and turn it into a glance that does not actually hurt. Yeah. So like, you get hit by the sword, but it absorbs it, right? So they wanted something different. And their magic, why can't, it's possible. I'm gonna just repair this can opener. And so I had a bunch of thoughts because there are a lot of games that have active defenses. There are lots and lots of games that have active defenses. And so I had a lot of thoughts, one of which of course was GURPS. If not even just active, there's just a lot of games that have active defenses. They're like, this is not it's not a new idea. It's not a rare concept. It happens quite a lot. There are a lot of games with active defenses. And so I was about to go and respond with some suggestions when I read the thread a bit more, and people started suggesting games, not the ones I would have suggested, but that's not the point. They suggested some games. His response made me realize that I'm not quite certain I can help him because of what exactly he wanted. Yeah, I mean, Jared's like, yeah, storyteller, GURPS, Shadowrun, Witcher, so many systems. Also, I don't know why I saved right there if I'm just going to step outside anyway. I'm going to save right here. And then once I've saved, which I just did, I'm going to go here and finish up this thought before I go. And I'm quitting. So I was like, yeah, there's just like so many different systems that have active defenses. And like as a player, I feel very different playing a game with active defenses versus one that I don't. If I play D&D and somebody rolls to hit, and they hit my AC, and then they say, take 15 points of damage, that feels or if they roll to hit and then they do not successfully hit, they do not hit my AC, and they go, you dodged out of the way dramatically, they didn't hit you. that feels very different than they roll to hit, I roll to dodge, and I succeed by dodge. You know what I mean? Like that feels for me very different. Yeah, like just so many games, right? And I was about to answer when I was reading the conversation, and people suggested a bunch of games, and the person said, "Oh no, no, but I don't want a game where the GM rolls at all. I want a game where the players roll to hit. If they hit, they succeed, and then the players roll to defend. If they succeed, the person does not hit, right? So they basically want a game, a rules light game where only the player rolls that is also rules light. And I was like, oof, well that's tricky because a lot of active defense games are a bit more simulationist and are a little bit less rules light, but that game exists too. Um, I would say probably something like probably maybe some PBTA depending. A lot of PBTA is a little bit more abstract in their combat, but also Cypher, I would say probably because Cypher is a GM only game. So perhaps maybe some manifestations of PBTA, some manifestations of Cypher, probably, right? Uh Symbaroum, yeah. There's a rule variant in DD called Players Make All the Rolls. Oh, is there? Which editions? That's interesting. Because that might, but they don't want AC, right? They want dodge and parry is what they want. So this person wants a game with dodge and parry that is rules light, and the player only, and only the player rolls. Oh, 3E hit. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah. So yeah, and I was like, okay. And I was like pondering it, and I was like, you know what? I do not have time to ponder this right now. I'm not going to get myself distracted because I actually have to go and teach. So I didn't write back, but I was thinking about it. About a lot of, yeah, a lot of active defenses are some sort of contest, but some, not all. Not all. Dodge and parry sounds like an old TV show. Hello, I'm Dodge, and I'm Parry. Yeah. So Cypher, right, has that sort of a, has it? Um, I feel like Action Movie World, which is PBTA, also has that. I think it does as well. Because that's another. Yeah, so you basically have to find those games that GMs never roll, where manifestations of those games where combat is a little bit more detailed than super abstract, right? Because like in Cthulhu Confidential, there is one roll only, and that is a fight roll, and then that decides what happens, right? Which is not the same thing as like there's no like back and forth in terms of like, right? So it's just like that's just like a narrate the moment, and that's a little bit different than I think what this person wants. So I feel like that one, yeah. You turned your AC into a defense save. It was generally just AC -10, and enemy attacks turned into a DC that was attack bonus plus. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, right. And you could then just, yeah, that would probably work for that person too, actually. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna say one more thing that I was like quite frustrated by because I was like, hold on a moment. I was accused of something that I did not appreciate the accusation because it was based on ways of thinking about gaming that the reason why I bring this up is because it made me think about something about a history, a gaming history, and the ways in which now is a little bit different from then. And I think this is very interesting. And it was this. Somebody said, there was a tweet, somebody was like, hey, I really wish that D&D had some really good mass combat, 5e, had some really good mass combat rules because they don't. And I'm going to go into a big mass combat in my campaign that I'm jamming really soon. Like a bunch of, like, a bunch of armies versus a bunch of dragons, and I don't have what I want. Tell me, everybody, tell me your favorite mass combat systems and what you like about them. And then people were all sort of giving their combat systems. And I said, well, I really like the GURPS mass combat system because it scales very well and it allows like individual PCs to have impact. And I said, I've not actually used the mass combat rules in A Song of Ice and Fire, but those seem also pretty interesting. And that's just what I said in my tweet. And then somebody comes back and is like, wow, you know, this person asked specifically for 5e compatible mass combat rules, and here you are telling them to stop playing D&D and play something else instead. This is really disingenuous of you to like tell them not to play D&D, and like this is how people always do with D&D players. Some D&D player wants some D&D rule, and you walk and you say that they should play some other game instead. And I was like, first off, they never said they wanted 5e compatible rules, and second off, I did not tell them to stop playing D&D and play something else. They said, what are your favorite mass combat systems and what do you like about them? Which is what I told them. And I said, I didn't tell them to not play D&D and play GURPS or Song of Ice and Fire. I said, here are 2 mass combat systems. And the reason why I was thinking about this as being a cultural situation, right? And I tried to explain this because they were like, I don't know, not paying attention, is that, and people who are old D&Ders may appreciate this or not, I don't know. No, but the thing is, I actually think it's not that they were a jerk. I actually don't think they were a jerk, because later they actually apologized. I think that they are coming from a different cultural moment. And what I mean by that is, when I was playing D&D back in the day, people wanted mass combat rules. Actually, like, and when I say back in the day, I mean, I'm actually talking about 1st edition through 3rd. I can't speak for 4th. But this, what I'm saying, also applies to 3rd edition. And maybe even more to 3rd edition than it does to 1st. We're talking before the days of the DM's Guild, right? So this is important, right? This is like what I'm talking about, like 3E or and before. So back then, the thing about mass combat rules is that mass combat rules are often meta and are often a little bit detached from the base underlying system. Often, right? Like they're often like a separate system. Sometimes they're more integrated than others, but you know, they're often just a little bit above the system. The same thing with domain management rules. And in my experience, people would often ask, hey, what are good domain management rules that I want to use in my D&D game, or mass combat rules that I want to use in my D&D game? And people would often take mass combat or domain management realms either from like basic and port it into 3rd edition, or from other systems and port it into 3rd edition, because there's often enough disconnect that you can often just port those systems from other games just right on into your D&D game and have it work. Or you'd look at the mass combat systems from other games and use that as inspiration to homebrew your own. Like in my world, in my inside D&D world, people would often, and it wasn't for everything. Like you wouldn't recommend other systems for how to deal with encumbrance or whatever, because that's like pretty baked into D&D. But and maybe some of you all might think of other examples of other systems, but domain management and mass combat were 2 systems people often would take from other games or homebrew using inspiration from other games. And so when I suggested GURPS and Song of Ice and Fire, I was not telling him to not play D&D. I was saying, here are 2 systems that are they're probably pretty portable, that you could port into your D&D game, or that you could use as inspiration for a homebrew, because that's what I assumed they were asking for. 4th edition had minions, so mass combat was kind of a thing. Yeah, 1E did have some mass combat rules, and so I remember people taking 1E stuff into 3E or some other pieces as well. And faction reputation things sometimes as well. Yeah, sometimes there are these kind of slightly larger meta systems that people will just bring in from other games, and not just exclusively into D&D, but I remember people bringing in crafting rules from other systems into, systems they were playing that they didn't have the crafting rules. There's just some things that are kind of slightly meta that you can kind of pull around from other spaces. And so I was in no way telling this person not to play D&D. And the person kind of doubled down and like, well, it just kind of comes that way because that's how it is. And I was like, look, I just need you to know that's A, not what I was doing. I'm telling you twice now. But 2, there are a lot of games that have mass combat options, or that you could play mass combat in. I did not recommend all of those games, including some games that I run, because I was trying specifically to think about mass combat rules that I thought would integrate well and easily into a D&D campaign, because I was not assuming that this person would scrap their campaign to play something else. Like, you can run mass combat in Fate, actually not that hard at all, but I did not recommend Fate to this person because I do not feel like the way that Fate would do mass combat would be an easy port or a useful inspiration for a Faerun D&D campaign. So I didn't recommend Fate. If there were a PBTA mass combat system, I would not recommend that either. There are a bunch of games that I just wouldn't recommend, whose mass combat rules I would not recommend for a person who's looking for inspiration for their D&D campaign. But Song of Ice and Fire, I think, would probably work. I would definitely recommend Song of Ice and Fire's domain management system if somebody wanted to incorporate that into their D&D game. I haven't played through Song of Ice and Fire's mass combat to know if it would work. It seems pretty portable, so that's why I mentioned it. And GURPS is 100% modular, and people do this all the time. So like I was very specific, right, about being thoughtful about what might a D&D GM who is not finding what they want in 5e might find useful. And I knew that there were some first edition or basic mass combat rules. I just didn't have the time at that moment to go and look up my old. I was actually thinking mass combat in basic, not in basic, not expert. The next one, companion maybe. Anyway, there was some in like the old box system that I thought might also be possible, but maybe a little bit harder to get a hold of. So anyway, I was not, and I was thinking about how, yeah, and Carl says, yeah, back in the day, mix and matching was more of a thing. Absolutely. Probably because there was less of an internet to try and find exactly what you wanted, so you use what you had. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. And so for me, what I thought was really interesting about this was that they were reading me, because I think what but person was pushing back at me was not the original poster, by the way. This person was assuming that the appropriate thing to do would be to only recommend things that were in, what's that place? The DM's Guild, right? DM's Guild and what? Unearthed Arcana? Like that kind of online database where people sort of publish their homebrew things, right? That stuff, right? That I think for them, they thought the only thing that you would do, the only appropriate thing would be recommend things in DM's Guild that were mass combat options, because those are things specifically made for 5e, but not official. That's, I think, what they were doing, right? Yeah, DM's Guild, yeah. And yes, so I think they were looking for that, right? I think this person assumed that would be the only appropriate thing. Otherwise, if you recommend anything else, you're telling people not to play D&D. But from my space, which is this gaming generation gap, for my space, like, oh no, like, and again, I would not have recommended a different game if what they wanted was something that I thought was actually integrated into the system, right? I wouldn't have recommended like a crafting system in D&D that was not D&D, like, because that doesn't make a lot of sense. But those meta systems are things that I would totally recommend and not even assume that you were thinking I was trying to tell you not to play D&D, because that is just kind of how people have done it. And what I realized, which I thought was, this is the reason why I'm bringing this up, it's not because I want to complain about this person, but about thinking about the gaming generation gap and how where we are now has changed certain perceptions. And so what I think is fascinating is that, as Carla notes, that purism wasn't necessarily there as much. Like, all the time, we would, like, I know people who would, like, take modules from Ars Magica that they wanted to run in D&D, and they would do that. They would have to, like, mix it up a little bit, but they did it, right? Or just, like, there were things they liked. Oh, there was another game, it wasn't Ars Magica, it was another game that was kind of a very, like, gritty, realistic medieval thing that people liked. It wasn't Ars Magica, it was Pendragon, maybe? And they wanted some of the Pendragon stuff, but they wanted to play it in D&D, so they just ported stuff over and vice versa. So, like, I am used to, with certain ways, not being particularly rigid and purist about things, but, like, the idea of mixing and matching some things being a possibility, and that not being a repudiation of D&D at all. Like, just like, oh, yeah, sure, right? In the same way that if somebody were playing a game that didn't have like, back in the day, if somebody were playing Tunnels and Trolls and Tunnels and Trolls didn't have really good overland exploration rules, I would say, oh, Expert Box D&D has some great overland exploration rules. You should check that out. Like, not to say don't play Tunnels and Trolls, but here's a resource for you that you can use, right, as you're doing your thing. And it was just interesting to me to see the ways in which it seems as if that dynamic has changed a bit, which I just think is interesting. Yeah. Valtio says, as someone who doesn't play many RPGs, I'm flipping through Star Wars Stars Without Number right now because I feel like it might be relevant. Versus nearly 9:30. Yeah, I'm gonna go. And you need to eat at some point. Yes. I have a feeling you could talk on the topic for another hour if we let you. Yeah. Krellin says, a famous core D&D early module is literally exploring a crash spaceship. So there's a lot of genre bending you can do and still be fitting within D&D 6. Yeah, yeah. And so for me, it was just, I'm not mad at this person. I don't think they were a jerk. For me, what was interesting about it was to realize that from their vantage point, D&D, and I really do think it's because of the DM's Guild, has become, the borders around it has become harder, right? Why would you use something outside of D&D when you could use something in D&D? And if somebody's recommending something outside of D&D, they must be trying to like, also I imagine this person probably got insulted a lot for playing D&D, or like, there are all those fights going on. But I also think about the ways in which, and I don't know if this happens as much, it must. Please tell me if it doesn't, but it must still happen. For a long time in the 90s especially, people put out generic RPG supplements that were meant to be used with any system, right? Books of NPCs, books of traps, like that were meant like resources for GMs that you could use in your RuneQuest game or your D&D game or your Rollmaster game. Like there was just a lot more sense of like, printed in zines and stuff. Absolutely. Hrothgar says, I feel like part of the disconnect may have been text versus voice conversation, then adding in the character limit too. Yes, but it's also, but when people say things to me on Twitter, I do not assume the worst possible interpretation of those things. I don't, right? That like, I do not assume the worst possible interpretation. I think a lot of people, their experience online tends to be people yelling at them and telling them they're doing it wrong. And so they tend to assume that people are telling them to do it wrong, even if that's maybe not necessarily what they're doing, right? So I think a lot of people are kind of traumatized is what I'm trying to say. So I think that sort of ties into it a little bit. You do not, but I think that people are like that for a reason. Like, I don't think they do it because they're unreasonable. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think they do that because they've been hurt, right? You know what I mean? Like, I think that if you've been hurt a lot, that ends up being a reaction that many people have. So like, I'm trying to, like, for me, this is me about trying to be empathetic towards this person, that they're doing this for a reason. And it has to do with like a kind of a toxic environment and that being a little bit traumatic, right? And now it's drive-through RPG. Yeah, and I do believe there's still these generic things happening in drive-through RPG. I know I've seen a couple of them, but I just wonder now with the OGL if it happens less, because why make a generic thing when you can just actually make it OGL and D&D branded? I don't know. I'd have to see. Or Unspeakable Oath for Cthulhu. Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tal'Dorei Reborn is written for 5e, and the rules are all 5e, but the beginning literally says almost everything in here is just setting, and you can port it into a different system. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if that was a core assumption, I don't think the writers would have went out of their way to explicit it. Yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing I want to say about this, and then I know I'm going to go, because I'm going to go eat chili, my hot chili, is, I wonder, like, homebrew, like how much homebrew is accepted, like, there's just like interesting things about that I think is fascinating. Oh, this is what I want to tell you. And one of the other things I said, by the way, one of the reasons why I mentioned GURPS, I was explaining to this person, is not because I necessarily want them to play GURPS, actually, because I really wasn't. I was not recommending that. But GURPS, historically, and again, GURPS is not as popular anymore, so people may not know that, but GURPS historically is a game that many, many, many people buy the supplements for, but do not use for GURPS. I know so many people who have used GURPS supplements for their D&D campaigns, or for their other, like, that is a market for GURPS. And that's one of the reasons why, and part of this has to do with how GURPS writes their supplements. A couple of things, right? One, they tend to separate setting books and crunch books. A lot of their crunch books are written in with real world parameters, so that even if you don't play GURPS, like their Old West book has a bunch of gear stuff, but it gives you like real world weights and real world, like, old school prices, so that once you know that they're pretty consistent, so that you can then port it over to your system if you want to. So there's like, I just know so many GURPS supplements, are just so many people who use GURPS supplements to play not GURPS. And so me recommending a GURPS supplement did not mean, in my mind, because of the tradition of people using it even for D&D, that I was meaning that they should be playing GURPS. And I was just, again, not mad at this person, but really fascinated by how clearly something has changed in the last, I don't know what, 10, 15 years, right? And what our assumptions are about how people are playing and what they're playing. And I just thought that was like social engineering. Yeah. I just thought that was really interesting. Like, I'm not mad, and I wanted to share it with you all because I know many of you are also like interested in those kinds of things. And yeah. And I wonder how much of this has to do with the OGL, meaning that things that would have been generic or just taken from other places before are now in DM's Guild and officially for 5e, whatever that means. And so you could just get something that makes you feel like it's officially built for it, as opposed to something that you would sort of bring together for it yourself. So I don't know, but also going back to GURPS for a moment, which is not about GURPS, actually, it's about something else. There was a you know, the Raven, the Penny and the Raven, the blog by his book's over there, by the guy that does all the history of RPGs, and he was like, oh, maybe it might not have been him. Anyway, one of these books on the history of RPGs talks about different decades and like gave them sort of like names, and they were talking about the 90s as the rise of the generics. Actually, I think I was reading a blog post from him about generic RPGs in general, and talked about the 90s as like, and into the early aughts, like the 90s, mid to late 90s, early aughts is like the rise, like a big high point for generic systems. Hero, GURPS, Savage Worlds, BESM, Triset, like basically there's a whole bunch of generic systems came out, and then they kind of died off a little bit. They weren't as popular. It's not like they stopped existing, but like they were no longer like, that was like a big thing. That chili's gonna be so good. And I kind of think that when you have a lot of generic systems, the idea that you'd be porting things from here or there was just a bit more prevalent at that time, because I think that was a little bit part of the ethos. And now they have died a little bit because I think people want to do a little bit less work, but they want things that are just actually kind of like built for it. Although I would argue that we're like, I see generics on the rise again, like with Genesis. Like we've had like a spate of new generics coming out in the last couple of years. So clearly there's some kind of interest in generics again, or at least some kind of like weird version of generics, which is like the PBTA, which is not really a generic, but it's like an open license you can do stuff with. My point being that it's interesting how the rhythm and the history of gaming has changes your assumptions of what you think is happening about a thing. That's all. And I thought it was fascinating. So I wanted to share that with you, not to complain about this person, but to sort of note like, oh, that's really interesting to me. Because I was responding to somebody who said, 5e does not have what I need. Tell me what your favorite mass combat systems are. And I was like, oh. And tell me what your favorite mass combat systems are and why, which makes me think you're gathering data. So here's some data, right? And so it was just interesting. I was just very fascinated by that. And I made me think about just gaming culture. Like, is it considered okay to bring in things from other systems? And yeah, people do it all the time. That's it. Anyway, I thought it was really fascinating. I thought it was really interesting, and I thought you would find that interesting as well, all of my battle buddies. So I'm gonna go. It's time for me to leave. I missed you all. It was really nice to be back because I didn't get to stream much last week, so I missed you all. And I will say this is your homework if you choose to accept it. I would love for you all to just ponder this, because I'm going to keep pondering it. I'm going to keep thinking about gaming cultures and like what sorts of games are most popular and what the environment is and how that impacts what we think about what we're doing in a game at all. Because I really am thinking about this, like the fact that like mass combat pools, people just like ported them from all over the place. Like they really did. So I'm just like thinking about that. And I would love for you to sort of ponder it as well. So is there a Saturday stream? I certainly hope so. I want to. I've got a bunch of stuff going on, but I'm aiming to. I'm aiming for it. Lindy says, I'm not in school anymore. Nobody can make me. I didn't say you had to. It's if you wanted to ponder it. Yeah, like if you started playing D&D during the 4th edition era, do you have different assumptions about gaming than if you started in the 3rd edition era? If you started playing, like what are the ways in which our current gaming culture or the different gaming cultures have made assumptions about what gaming is and what is happening? Because that's really fascinating to me. And anyway, if people have observations and thoughts, I want to hear them. And so I'll be like, I'll circle back around. Your homework, if you choose to accept it. Yeah. So anyway, that's me. So what's happening? tomorrow, I know I have to update my calendar, and I'm gonna do that. That's part of my. I'm gonna do a bunch of work email today. I'm gonna go and make chili, do work email, and then do some of this like admin stuff. But here's what's gonna happen. One, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, I'll be over on Roll20 to play Fiasco with Jason Morningstar. Saturday at noon, I will be doing the Outer Worlds. I'm not going to be able to play the banjo, though, because I'm just not going to have the time to sort of get my fingers back before the day after tomorrow. And next week... I'm going to announce this because it's next week. Next week, on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, over on Other Docs channel, I will be playing Top of the World, a gritty, realist spy game set in the 70s using the Rosette Diceless system. We did our session 0 the other day. Yesterday. We did our session 0 yesterday. And I'm pretty sure we're just starting next week. So next week I'll be over on Other Docs channel for Top of the World. And that'll be Wednesday next week. And then of course Thursday will be The Long Dark. Friday will be the season opener for City of Light and Shadow with special guest to do a mysterious conference. And then Saturday will be The Outer Worlds. And something else. Hey, everybody. Do you know what? I realized something. I am going to, before I leave, I'm going to share something with you. It's not very long. It's not very long. But I was told that I was allowed to do this. I was told that I was allowed to do this, and so I am going to do this. I don't know what I'm allowed to say while I do this, but I'm going to do a thing. Yeah, I'm going to do a thing. What is, I need to, okay, great. Yeah, this is where I'm going to do it. Let me find it, and then I'm going to put it right over here. I'm going to have to adjust the, I'm going to have to adjust the volume on the fly, but I'm going to show you something, everyone. Do you need to be sworn to silence? No, I was told I was allowed to show it on my channel. So, since I'm allowed to show it on my channel, I'm going to show this on my channel, but without commentary. And I'm not going to come back because I'm going to get chili, but I'm going to watch it with you, and then I'm going to go to their end screen, and then I'm going to go and get chili. So, and the reason why I'm not going to come back is because if I come back, then I might be tempted to say something about it, but I'm not going to do that because then I would say something about it, and I'm not going to. Actually, you know what? I'm back, and here's why. The video is larger than my screen, which means I need to resize it first. I'm going to resize it first, and once I resize it, then I will... are you going to let me... I'm going to have to resize it on the fly. Sorry about that. I'm going to resize it on the fly. It'll be fine because I can't resize it in studio mode. So I'm going to resize it on the fly, and that's our life. We're going to go. That's it.
Can't hear you. You can do better. Are you really ready? Yeah, baby, yeah. Ready? Set. Put the hammer